Today on Doomed! Charge over at Twitter. PelosiGate running wild on the right wing with all sorts of crazy conspiracies about the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband and was searching out Nancy Pelosi. What a weird week, and we're just about 1 week away, 7 days away, 6 days away actually now from the midterm elections. So much to talk about, and to join me to talk about this right now. Hold on, gotta pull him up on the feed. I'm a little bit out of it. Here we go. There we go. Lance from the Serfs. Hello,
Very good
Lance.
to see you and talk to you again, Matt.
It is a pleasure to join for you to join me today, and it's also a pleasure for you to join me. So
it is, yes.
Oh no, you moved your image back over into the corner there.
I'm in the same spot. I can move it again. Tell me.
Oh, then I must have messed something up. Let me see. Hold on.
Let me know.
Oh no, that was me. That was me. There you go. All right, bring it back
okay.
over. Bring it back over to where you. Hold on. All right, I think we got it. Hold on. Now I gotta move. Bring me back up here. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Hi, internet. It's good to see you all.
Hi. So for people who are just tuning in to blah 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 blah. So for people who are just tuning into my feed, Lance is live on his feed over at Twitch, and so I'm live over on YouTube and on Twitch, but we're putting out two different feeds of content, so you can't get us Mr. repurposed content mods out there who try to, because look, our feeds do not look anything alike. These are two separate pieces of content.
We're just crossing streams and enhancing. There's just an overabundance of amazing content dripping from the internets.
Yes, I love to cross streams.
Can I say something about crossing streams? I want to give a shout out to one Matt Binder for organizing this, because I think I've organized one of our crossovers and you've organized 2 or 3. I'm definitely in the bad because I do love our crossovers, especially because I think you're like one of the only other people on the internet who really appreciates the fine art of internet sleuthing in order to really get to the crumbs, and like it's a fun adventure. And your recent discovery of Jimmy Dore's account, libtardo1, was just a piece of absolute beauty. That made my day. It was hilarious to watch. It was so funny to see the whole thing unravel piece by piece until I was eventually like, oh my god, this is actually his sock account. I mean, sorry, allegedly. But like, goddamn, that's I
got a tease for everybody. Now, this is the free half of my show we're talking on right now. So, this is the half that'll be uploaded as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. But in the second half of the show, which I will make available as a video on YouTube, I got a big surprise for all of you. If there was any question before, and I had some people throw at me some interesting theories, as maybe it's not Dore, because again, what I presented was highly probable evidence that Jimmy Dore is running sock puppets, but of course could not physically prove that he is. And people would say, oh, he follows you, Matt, so maybe he saw this 2-day-old tweet pop up in his feed at the exact same moment. One of his fans just happened to reply to it. Sure, that's certainly a possibility. It would be quite the coincidence, but it'd be certainly a possibility that could happen. In the second half of this show, after I say goodbye to you, Lance, and maybe you'll stick around on your feed to show your folks over there, I am going to run through new evidence about this account that will destroy all possible questions about whether Jimmy Dore runs a sock puppet. I can't physically show Jimmy Dore logged in. Like, I don't have a photo or video evidence of Jimmy Dore tweeting as libtardo1 on Twitter, the second. But what I have is additional proof that will blow people's minds and make it. I mean, I would love to hear the people argue that this isn't him after I show this evidence. Quite honestly, it would be amazing.
So it's going to upgrade from alleged to definitive tonight, live on the Matt Binder show.
I would say it's going to be pretty damn definitive. Exciting. I mean, he would have to have. Let's also put it this way: there is a possibility, based on this recent evidence, that it is not Jimmy Dore. It would be the other person who it could possibly be, though, is Mrs. Jimmy Dore. It is coming. It is coming from within the Jimmy Dore house.
That's even better. That's even better.
It is coming from inside the Jimmy Dore house.
Oh
that
my God.
Will be 100% confirmed. Amazing. I think, in my opinion, at the end of me showing this new evidence, and it will happen right after we finish talking, because as much fun as this Jimmy Dore stuff is, and I do think it's important to expose big influencers in the online political news space who have large followings, it's honestly, even I have to admit, not the biggest news story of the week.
It's for the terminally online, but those of us who are the terminally online, it is absolute and utter gold. I appreciate it so much. This is the cup that keeps on giving, I gotta say.
You'll have more content in just about 1 hour when we're done talking and I finished going through the Jimmy Dore thing. Let's actually.
I know you're not one to speculate wildly on this, but I gotta wonder what the process is. Do you think Jimmy sits down and then tells his wife what he wants her to say about him? Say that I'm the smartest guy and that I'm never wrong.
Right. I mean, here's the thing though, not to continue out here, but like you said, people should know that I am not someone to speculate wildly. I mean, I literally cover on this show. My beat is conspiracy theories, misinformation, and stuff like that. So I am not one to spread that stuff. However, there are times where well-researched possibilities and speculation is okay when you have strong feeling that you have all of the evidence to prove something. You just don't have again, like I said, I don't have a video or a photo of Jimmy Dore tweeting as libtard01, but I have a number of things that point to it being Jimmy Dore without there being much room for it being someone else. Quite frankly, I don't think there's any room for it to be anyone else other than Mrs. Jimmy Dore, his wife. What is her name again? Steph or something? It's one of the two of them. It's within the Dore household this account is tweeting from.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I guess you're pulling on me today to talk about the opposite of all that you just named, an actual conspiracy theory that the right is running with.
Oh, you are so good at this still to this day with the segues. Oh my God. Last time you were on the show, man, you were left and right with the segues. I was going to say, my segue was going to be, speaking of crossing streams, there's one individual who the right thinks was crossing streams over the weekend, and that's Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Oh my God. I honestly this today, because it's a really great timing on this, by the way, Matt. I went over everything today. I went through, I made you a picture. I did a drawing for you. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, I have not. Can you actually send it to me so I could pull it up on the feed? Because I've cropped you in the video, it's not going to show up in your video.
Yep. Hold
Just
on
tweet it to me or DM it to me, or
I'll put it in the chat here or in the Skype chat.
I
can also put it in the.
Just got the little bloop, and I will.
But once we went through all the receipts, and at first I was like, where is this all coming from? Why are they speaking with such confidence? That's the part of this that was blowing my mind. Not just your Tim Pools and your Steven Crowders, your Glenn fucking Greenwalds. If you've seen his tweet thread where he's going through this, he's like, maybe at a certain point, the conformist liberal narrative that everyone seems to be buying will turn out to be true, but there are many questions left unanswered. I was like, they're all coming at this whole thing with this weird homophobic conspiracy theory involving Paul Pelosi apparently being some kind of secret sex worker hiring, gay mistress mixed in, all this kind of stuff. I was like, where's this coming from? And when you
Right.
get to the root of it all, it's ridiculous. It's so much worse than I thought it was.
Right. On one side, you have evidence via multiple online postings over the past couple of years from this individual, confirmed by family members that this is indeed this individual's writing about COVID conspiracy theories, believing in QAnon conspiracy theories, being a Trump guy. And you have this guy who, again, we have all these confirmed posts from him saying things we've already heard other people of his ilk screaming in the Capitol building on January 6th. Nancy, where are you? Nancy! Like he apparently was yelling, looking for Nancy Pelosi in Nancy Pelosi's home. We have that narrative. And of course, the cops who are even saying, obviously, always double check. Don't make cops your number one source. But even cops who, the right loves saying are, back the boys in blue. The cops saying this narrative is the case, that it was a break-in, that this guy was looking for Nancy Pelosi, saw Nancy Pelosi's husband, attacked him with a hammer, held him captive, had zip ties ready to tie him up. Nancy Pelosi's husband locked himself in a bathroom and called for help. We have that narrative on one side, backed up by all these factual things. And on the other side, we have this wild speculation that this 80-something-year-old man who's married to Nancy Pelosi is secretly hiring gay prostitutes to come to his house. And they're having hammer duels, fighting each other with hammers. And that this is all just some weird, of course, got to blame the LGBTQ community. And this is all some weird, sex thing that went too far. And they were, the Pelosi's were caught red-handed and have to do this crazy spin with their Trump derangement syndrome to blame the right. I mean, which sounds more convincing?
You forgot to add one little detail. He also showed up with apparently things to tie humans up, which
I said that.
People just you said that one.
Yeah.
Also, in order to make that all work, he also had to have been intentionally posting for years in all of his social media false flags and trolling for years. Like, he had to have been so dedicated to his craft of being one day fooling everyone that he was an actual right-winger, that he was doing that for just years and years and years in all of his social media, including posting videos that he liked, one of them being Jimmy Dore's videos on Putin. He was a pro-Putinist. In order to fool everybody. Like that's the part of it where it's just like, you're just reaching, like, what's that movie, Seven, where it's just like he's crafted and he's patient, and he was feeding them just a little yogurt every day for like 7 years. It's like, yeah, you have to play the real long, and then on top of everything else, hope and get lucky enough that Paul Pelosi of all people was going to hire you as the sex worker that night, because that would have to be part of it if you were intentionally going to
My favorite thing is they found these old, literally almost a decade old news articles where this guy, what was his name again? Do you have that in front of you? I forgot to pull it up. I could just pull it up really quick if I need to. But
it's like DePepe.
Yeah, something like that, right? You want to pull that up for me? DePepe.
Yes,
okay, cool.
I got it.
So this guy DePepe, he apparently many years ago, at least a decade ago, he was, according to older news articles, part of like this nudist commune, like this hippie commune or something. He was a hippie Californian. I'm not a West Coast guy. I went there once and I thought it was a beautiful place, but not my vibe at all. And I'm just an East Coast lib. But honestly, I like my McDonald's. I like my sodas. I'm I like wearing clothes. I'm not. I'm almost a lifelong punk rocker, and punks hate hippies, so I'm no hippie. So I mean, I'm not in cahoots with this guy to like cover for him. It would have been funny if if this was like a hippie breaking into houses. It wouldn't be funny what he did, but if this was a hippie,
how far does the conspiracy go?
Right, but here's the thing. people change, and it seems like this guy documented his changes over the years. A lot of it seemed to have started with COVID-19 and the lockdowns in 2020. But like, this is what's amazing to me. The right literally advertises that this is a thing. Dem exit. People are coming, red wave. People are becoming right wingers. All these former Dems love Trump. Trump got these, these like moderate Dems, or Trump got these like working class Dems, or Trump convinced these Democrats all over that they're not really Democrats, they're right wingers. And the second one of these guys show up, they're like, no way, this guy's a right winger.
Well, can I also add that, like, you can be a nudist and also be right wing, or you can have very social conservative values, but they might not align with what the stereotypes are. There are racist and right wing hippies. Charles Manson is a really good example. The guy who carved a swastika into his forehead. You would consider him to be a hippie by most standards. He was in that movement and he pulled people in through LSD and all this other conversion shit. But it's not synonymous. Like, it's the same thing with the fact that, like, the pre-COVID anti-vaxxers, they were liberal coastal wine mums, like fucking progressives in San Francisco, who were like, oh, vaccines cause autism, you know, not what you would normally associate now with the modern anti-vax movement, which is conservatives, right? It's like, one thing, just because you're an anti-vaxxer, that doesn't mean to me that you are going to be a leftist, a socialist, a communist, or that you're going to be a fascist or a neo-fascist or something. So that's, that's why I think it's breaking their brains.
Honestly, it's pretty clear to me right now that just straight up, any sort of leftist anti-vaxxer thing, like the fact like they were like, you know, old school hippies and like, you know, cliche like wine moms who were progressive on other issues but were anti-vaxxers, like that whole thing is dead. Honestly, like the lockdowns turned these people into full-on right-wing fascists in a lot of senses. Like, show me one of these anti-vaxxer so-called progressives who aren't voting for Republicans as an FU to Democrats, who haven't turned full-blown right because of the lockdowns, who don't also now bring in the whole LGBTQ grooming your kids conspiracy theories into all this stuff. There is no more, from what I've seen,
this is entirely my point.
anti-vaxxer movement.
I totally agree with you. But that's why you have a person like Joe Rogan, who used to make fun of those people, now be on their team, right? That, like, if you look towards like, someone is a hippie, therefore they must be leftist, or someone is a nudist, therefore they must be progressive, or something like that, as your guiding compass, it's going to lead you astray. And like you just mentioned, this dude who may have had maybe some liberal beliefs in the past, may have been part of the Green Party in the past or whatever, if you look at his actual receipts, as in what he was saying, his own words for the last couple years in his unbelievable amount of social media posts that he's doing, it's like the evidence is insurmountable. The dude believed in the stolen election QAnon conspiracy theory. He was a raging anti-Semite. He was a raging misogynist. He had fucking I know it sucks reading like these assholes, like, you know, writing on streams or stuff, but I highly recommend you read his review of Black what's that one? Black Adam, the new one that just came out on
with
Marvel.
The Rock?
Yeah. It's hilarious. He blames he calls them women, woke liberal ideology, the Jews, like everything squished into one fucking hilariously bad review. It's like, it's one of the funniest movie reviews I've ever read. But like, yeah, like,
but then I remember reading about this, and at the end he goes, "Still, I liked the movie. It was pretty good."
Yeah.
Like he goes on this whole rip on how I'm sick of this woke Hollywood bullshit pushing, you know, the gay agenda down our throat, and these racial justice issues and this and that, throwing everything all in there. Feminists are now running Hollywood, and the Jews, don't forget the Jews. And at the end of the day, I'll still give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, it's like 6 out of 10 would watch again, you know? But like, instead of doing the Glenn Greenwald thing, which is basically like, well, wild speculation, let's look at the clues. There's an LGBTQ flag in the background. He lived in a place called the Hippie House. Why not listen to his own writing, his own words? Like, he's broadcasting his beliefs wildly all over. There's no fucking middle ground here.
You know, he didn't even live in the hippie house anymore because they kicked him out. He was living in a bus.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he broke up with his wife or girlfriend, and to stay close to his kids, he was living in a bus, like outside or down the block.
Tell me that story. I didn't know about that. I did find out that he's a Canadian. I'm sorry, as a Canadian, we keep exporting our worst to you. We give you Ted Cruz, Stephen Crowder, Jordan Peterson. All the fucking worst people come from Canada. I do apologize on behalf of this country. Lauren Southern, too. Lauren Chen. Goddamn. Everyone. All the right-wing pundits come from Canada. But
both Lauren Chen's from Canada, too?
Yeah.
Funny story. Yeah. I got a DM from her the other day.
What?
And apparently she and Lauren Southern are doing a election day stream next Tuesday. And they invited me on.
Oh, no way. Well, you're doing it, obviously, right?
I did not reach out yet. I was considering it. I was thinking about it. Because I also wanted to do my own stream that night. But I mean, how do I turn down the opportunity to talk to Lauren Southern and Lauren Chen? Apparently, I didn't know this. I knew Lauren Southern was from Canada. I didn't know Lauren Chen was too. I get to speak with two of Canada's finest. Maybe I should do this.
Damn. Sliding into your DMs. I had no idea. Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's going to be a wild show. I will watch that.
All right. Now I got to reach out and do it. Yeah, for sure. I was considering it, but the thing is, if it was any other night, I would have been like, oh, for sure. But then I'm ruining but maybe I could do my own stream after I get off the stream with them.
Yeah, you could always stream that stream as well. I would hope you would, because that way. I think it's just better having you there trying to push back against what I'm sure is going to be a lot of pro-fascist talking points.
Right. Here's the thing, though. Like, they probably think I'm going to go on there and be like, go Tim Ryan or something like that. Like, do I want Tim Ryan to beat JD Vance? Well, yeah, because he's facing JD Vance, but I'm not going to be like, I'm not a fan of Tim Ryan.
Oh, there's so many lineups that like fucking fall down that line for me where I'm just like, I fucking know I'm not a fan. Like, even the story we're talking about today, I guess we got to do a PSA so everyone can hear this, because otherwise we'll be called shit libs until the end of time by Jimmy Dore fans. I hate Nancy Pelosi. I despise her. I not only despise a lot of her policy decisions, I despise that she's fucking corrupt as hell and has a lot of investments in stocks when she passes legislation directly that's going to impact the value of her stocks. Fuck her. Fuck Nancy Pelosi. No fan of Nancy Pelosi. But I also don't think my political opponents should be killed. Like, I'm not for capital punishment, so I am against them being attacked with people waging hammers for political reasons.
Well, now that you told me about your feelings about Nancy Pelosi, I just want to say thank you for joining me tonight, Lance. Have a great night. Take care.
1984, fucking cancel culture. They got you too.
There'll be no Nancy Pelosi slander on this feed, okay?
Save me, Elon. Only Elon can save me.
So let me actually pull up. Let's. I want to pull this up. You actually sent it to me, and I got it. Let's pull this up, and why don't you walk us through this? It is an amazing graphic. It's unfortunately I'm making it bigger so people could see it, and the text is a little blurry.
Okay, but why don't I'll read the text out loud though.
Yeah, why don't you read it for us here? Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically how the Paul Pelosi, because I was looking into it, and there's another source I'll point to and link you to Media Matters, which did a breakdown of all the sources as to what people are doing. But it's just really weird when you see the right start to just move in lockstep with an idea. So, and where does that idea come from? And then how do they all start like saying the same talking points? Doesn't matter if it's Elon Musk in this pipeline this time, but it doesn't matter if it's like Tim Pool, Stephen Crowder. It just seems like they all start saying the same things. Where does this originate? So the four big pieces or crumbs that are making up the Paul Pelosi is actually secretly gay conspiracy theory starts with this. There was a local TV affiliate that reported that apparently Paul was found wearing underwear by the police. They then retracted that statement because it wasn't true, and no one else has since reported on it. But that was enough for the first piece. So that's why they're all saying Paul Pelosi was found in his underwear. He was not.
Right. And we should add, too, that it's unclear where this local news outlet got this information, because this wasn't something that was out there that multiple outlets reported because the police shared something wrong or a source shared something that they, it wasn't like through the grapevine and something got changed and it, and multiple outlets ran with it. This one news reporter at this one local news affiliate decided to say this. For reasons that are still unclear, he's retracted it, but he has not shared how it came to be, as far as I've seen. And this is where it all came from. I mean, I gotta say, like, I think local news is very important. But we've seen this many times before. I don't know
Yes.
what they teach local news reporters that doesn't seep through, because it doesn't seem like there's like a local news reporter school and then like a national news reporter school. Everyone learns the same basic shit if you want to get into this industry. Why do local news reporters consistently play so loose like this, without, like, as if they are living in a time where if they report something wrong, it's not going to be spread like wildfire? We see this all the time. It's always local news reporters who just reprint like local police department press releases as if it's factual and the straight up news, and constantly we find out later that it's completely wrong. And then you have this case where
well, it's like the Ouroboros, right? It's self-fulfilling, because like once that happens, it's enough for like the other people to start working it up, and then it becomes the news. Then Fox News is like, according to multiple sources, it's been reported. Andy Ngo and Tim Pool have stated that, and then you're like, well, where did they get it? Where did it come from? Who was at the front of the centipede?
Right. Oh, and I should say to people who are listening to the podcast, this graphic is amazing. It is a human centipede. On the left-hand side, it starts with Lance is walking us through these 4 pieces of misinformation and details that went out there that formed this right-wing conspiracy. And then after we get through those 4, he's going to go through the human centipede of how this spread through right-wing media. So we already got the first piece of bullshit down. What is that second piece there at the very start of the human centipede?
So, a Twitter account run by Stephen Krakauer alleged, without evidence, that there were no signs of forced entry. And this is the source where you hear a lot of right-wingers saying both two things, which is pretty wild. One, that there was no smashed glass, and the second one is that there was, but it was smashed from the outside, as in someone was trying to escape the house, as in the gay lovers didn't enjoy each other's company or something, and then one of them was trying to escape and smash the glass in the opposite direction.
Who is Steve Krakauer, or whatever his name is?
A conservative account on Twitter.
Oh, okay. All right. So he just... Oh, I saw these pictures going around. The one I saw was the glass is broken in like Nancy Pelosi's house in the backyard or something. There's like multiple doors next to each other, sort of, I guess, like sliding doors, but they don't slide, they open. And like, let's say there's 4 doors like next to each other. You know how people open up doors fully to their backyard. You've seen nice houses like on Long Island, if you're a New Yorker like me, who have this. So one side, the window is broken in, but then you jump over to the second set of doors next to it, and those are the 2 doors that are open. And they were saying, oh, if the glass was open on those doors, how would they reach over through the glass and open the second set of doors? Well, idiots on the right, these are pictures taken after the fact, which means these are pictures taken after cops ran into the house, opened up the doors to get in there and stuff like that. Like, they're acting like we're looking at like the untouched scene of the crime before anyone got there. This was already after authorities got there and opened up doors to get in and had probably took evidence out or whatever. I mean, give me a break. So what is the third piece of...
sorry, just to clarify, Steve Krakauer, I pulled up his account. He's an expat northerner, adopted Texan, part of the Megyn Kelly Show, editor and host of Fourth Watch newsletter and podcast, and in the past has worked on The Blaze. So,
okay. What does an expat northerner mean? Do we have another Canadian on our hands?
I maybe. It's a weird way of wording it, but sure. Okay, so the third one is that the SFPD police did a press conference and released a statement, which is what always happens. It's very typical, especially for something that's as high profile as this case. People misconstrued what they stated and or left out to imply there was a third person present when there's no evidence of a third person being present.
Right.
So this is where the whole Nancy Pelosi caught them in a lover's quarrel, or Nancy Pelosi caught them having gay sex, and at that point a fight broke out, and one of them tried to kill the other one, and that's why he pulled the hammer out to try and beat his lover.
Wait. I'm gonna throw a new one out there for them. Here we go. Now follow me here. What if, in order to make sure that he could not be caught by the police for hiring someone to have sex with, which is illegal. Prostitution is illegal in this country. I disagree, it shouldn't, but it is illegal. What if thinking ahead, they hired a person to film it so they could argue they were shooting porn. Thus, it would be legal in the state of California.
Of course. You should work on the right. You'd make so much more money. You'd be fucking, at this point, you would have like 50 super chats. Everyone was like, this is fucking epic. Oh, libs owned. Look at the libs tears. Tears everywhere.
I know, because they don't have any awareness of the world around them. It's amazing. So like they would never come up with that because they probably don't even know that's a thing. They probably don't even know that people do that. I mean, we just had a third party candidate for I think like Senate, I think in New York. He's a pro prostitution like libertarian, which again, that sounds cool. But to put his money where his mouth is, he said he actually shot a porn video with a porn star and released it as a campaign.
Well, that's who that is. Yeah. I saw that, mother. That's amazing.
But my theory there is, again, the guy just wanted to hire someone to have sex with. And he needed to film it, because if you don't film it for, distribution purposes, you get in trouble. It's completely legal if you're shooting a porn. It's not legal if you're just doing it to, wet your willy.
Wow. I did not know that was the logic. That's wild.
That is what people do, yes.
Can you just set up a camera? Could I be in the middle of having sex with a sex worker, and then I just put a camera in the corner, and then if I got caught, I was like, oh no, I'm making porn.
You could probably argue that, and you'd probably be able to get away with it. I really do think, because that's a pretty, especially if you have a lawyer argue that he's my client to post videos. He has an amateur sex website. That's a big thing nowadays, and I'm pretty sure unless, of course, the cops got you, driving to the alley or wherever where you picked the prostitute up, then your whole thing blows apart. But if you find someone online or something, you probably get away with it if you have that set up. This is not legal advice. Do not go out and do this based on what I'm telling you.
Matt Binder's advice on how to get away with hiring sex workers. He's got all the tips you need and techniques.
This is my wild speculation. And if you want more,
I appreciate the side hustle, all right?
Yeah, if you want more, just be sure to check out Matt Binder, amateur porn director.xxx, which is a domain extension, by the way.
Okay. So I have the fourth horseman crumb of the apocalypse, and that is that a house that the attackers didn't live at, but stayed at, and was then kicked out of, was called the, quote, hippie house. It had rampant drug use and a pride flag. Witnesses claimed, and I should have put this in the thing, they were a bunch of fucking Karens, apparently, because they were just, they would have Black Lives Matter, a poster, and they would call the cops on black people all the time, was what one of the witnesses that is also being trumpeted around by the right to try and justify this are also saying.
Wait, say this one again. I was trying to read it along with you. This is the hardest one for me to read. I just want to follow. This one seems to be the most confusing. Go ahead.
Well, so it's a bunch of things. This is kind of what do you call it? Post hoc rationalization, or whenever someone tries afterwards to try and explain what happened previously.
Right.
But that picture of the hippie house, the quote, it's called the hippie house, came out. And a lot of this stems on the testimony given by someone who lived in the area, who was stating that the people who lived there were rampant drug users. They stayed in a place that they called the, quote, hippie house, and that there was a gay pride flag in the back. And that they also, in the same interview, she's like, yeah, they would be pro Black Lives Matter, but they would also call the cops on black people. It was it's a very weird series of statements. But you've also seen, I'm sure everyone at this point has seen the photo of the house with the rainbow flag. Right. And this is the last piece of the puzzle, being that this was in fact a leftist who lived in a hippie commune of nudists and drug users, which again is just leftism. That's what Marx talked about, I think, in the Communist Manifesto.
Okay, right.
And show hang brain. That's
right. Right. The workers will all hang out in a nudist commune. They must put the LGBTQ rainbow flag outside. And bonus points, true solidarity shown if they also put one of those signs up front that say, in this house, we believe Black Lives Matter, climate change is real, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Those angles.
So we got now the 4 conspiratorial points from the right. Now let's get to the actual human centipede that eats this shit and lets it go through them one by one. So who's the first one on the list here?
So it starts appearing on 4chan and far right websites
You
across
know
the
what? I'm
internet,
gonna
as
even
well
go
as
so far
blogs.
as it's not just appearing on 4chan. I'm gonna go so far as some of this stuff is being formed on 4chan. Even
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's by design, right? There's been a couple times where I've done the human centipede, where you see both where the shit gets ingested and then who eats the shit and then spreads the shit to everyone else. And in a lot of those cases, usually origin story starts out with your 4chans used to do Kiwi Farms back when it existed. Ape Kun back when it existed in its pure form. Now it's kind of just on the dark web on a tour. These would usually be the origin stories of these conspiracy theories.
Right. And so we move from 4chan and far right websites. Like I'm guessing you're saying like the Gateway Pundit, who I saw was getting on this, and let me hold it for the last human centipede. So after that we go to and I can see this now because the text's a little bit clearer. Your Andy Knows, your Tim Pool, your Glenn Greenwald, your Steven Crowders, and of course you have to know that every single one of them have their own unique way to disperse this stuff. I'm sure Andy No was full on into it. Tim Pool, I saw, was doing his usual, like I was doing it jokingly, but he was doing it for real. On one side, you have this crazy conspiracy theory that you have to believe that a nudist leftist his whole life all of a sudden starts sending out QAnon stuff. Isn't that crazy, folks? That's so crazy. And then on the other side, you have to believe that Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, is secretly gay, which that's crazy too. Wink, wink. That's how he was doing it. I saw Glenn Greenwald. He did his one was very interesting in terms of he had to frame it as if the media just willy-nilly created this narrative about what actually happened, which was a person who obviously is mentally unwell. Anyone who does this is mentally unwell. People who are mentally unwell, but not everyone who's mentally unwell, I should say, does this type of thing. In fact, most mentally unwell people don't do this type of thing. It's the combination of being mentally unwell, mentally ill, having some sort of mental illness, and taking in and consuming all this right-wing propaganda. The two things go hand in hand. It's impossible to say it's just one thing or the other because, every Trump supporter is not looking to attack somebody, although we saw a number of people who were ready on January 6th to do so. And not every mentally ill person goes out attacking people. In fact, the vast majority of them do not do anything of the sort. So I'll give them that because that's just the facts. But Glenn Greenwald framed it in his media narrative that, well, on one end, we could believe this quickly formed narrative that a crazy QAnon believer attacked Nancy Pelosi, and that very may well be the way this goes. That way he covers his bases here, right? He's got to say that. So when we go back and look, he's always very careful. I will always hand it to him. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen someone say something to him, and he says, that's actually not what my tweet said. And I go back and I have to say, wow, what do you know? I mean, you can read between the lines and see what he was really trying to get across to his followers, but he's very careful, and that tweet, in fact, does not say those exact words, so his bases are covered. And so, he threw this out there like that, saying that it's a possibility that Nancy Pelosi's husband is secretly gay or whatever, and this was a prostitute. And then I didn't see how Crowder covered it. You want to fill me in on the gaps there?
Two quick things I can fill you in. The first one, for your point with Glenn Greenwald, I have a total side story, but I made a meme, and it's a meme because I uploaded it to a channel called Memes of Production of Glenn Greenwald endorsing ivermectin, and I did a mashup in that meme of a whole bunch of different news clips and stuff to make him look silly because it's a meme, and I was editing it, and it is a deceptive edit. It's 100%, that's what a meme is. You can see it when you watch it. There's no way you can't watch it and be like, yeah, Lance, you were intentionally manipulating what he was saying to make him look foolish, and then you were adding in the clips of him endorsing ivermectin as a use against COVID-19. And he got that's the first time he got really mad at me on the internet and was saying that like because a whole bunch of people and journalists in Brazil apparently started using that meme and posting it around because they hate Glenn Greenwald. And so then he came out and was like, this person is a dishonest actor who manipulated the words that I said. I did not in fact endorse ivermectin, blah blah blah. And then I was like, oh, I will fully 100% admit I manipulated what you said. It's a meme. It's like I edited it to be funny. That's the point of this. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna I'm not trying to say this is literally the way you speak, because that would be absurd, because no one speaks like this and has cartoons pop up in their speech and stuff like that. Either way, I thought that was fucking hilarious. And also, he did say some really fucked up shit about ivermectin, but I can get into that in a different episode. In terms of Crowder, I'll pull up Crowder's official thing. Oh, I can also read Glenn Greenwald's tweet. I have him up here. There are key details about the Paul Pelosi attack that remain vague or confusing, including who let the police in, how he was able to call 911 in the middle of it, and what the attacker's motives were. The attempt to fill in these gaps with a narrative benefits isn't journalism. So to answer the 911 call, because that's another, I should have added that to the graphic. That's another big thing on the right now. The 911 call, they're saying that he used the word friend. And because he used the word friend, they were like, that implies that he's a gay lover. It just makes sense, because that's what gay lovers call each other, friend. So what he was actually doing was apparently trying to use language that wouldn't tip off his attacker that he was on to him while he was on the 911 call, which is what you're supposed to do, by the way, if anyone here is listening. If you have an intruder in your house and you are worried the intruder's about to kick in the door and stop your 911 call from going through, maybe don't say, hey, there's a guy with a hammer about to kill me, because then the guy with the hammer about to kill you will be like, oh shit, and then kick the door in and try to kill you. It is perfectly reasonable for him to have done that. I don't understand why this is a get.
The weird thing is too that I remember, now that you mention it, I remember seeing the original when it was first being reported about the 911 call. I remember it was literally framed by, again, the evil corporate mainstream media. It was literally framed from the very, very beginning as Nancy Pelosi's husband then spoke in code to the police to not anger his attacker, so he wouldn't know that there was, like, you know, that to break down the door and stop Nancy Pelosi's husband from calling the cops. I mean, it seems completely. I mean, that's also why, like, for example, hostage negotiators are trained to use the person's first name over and over and over again to develop like a friendly repertoire with them, so they don't feel like they're being attacked. You need to immediately make these people feel like they are in a safe space. You are their friend. Everything is going to be okay. Do not get them angry, because they're already acting irrational. Imagine how irrational they will act if you piss them off.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So it says, it's often the case that lone attackers, largely driven by mental health problems, have secondary political themes for their violence. That was the case for the would-be assassin of Brett Kavanaugh and the Bernie fan who shot Steve Scalise. Still unclear where the attack falls. By the way, Glenn Greenwald intentionally, I think he always does this thing where...
It's Scalise.
Oh, sorry, Scalise. He always does this thing where he does the like, I just want to remind you of a time, like, it's kind of like soft whataboutism or whataboutism light, like, just so you know, this also happened, and he'll just pepper that into his like little internet rants. And then he had, it's possible this guy was a right-wing fanatic whose real aim was to murder Nancy Pelosi purely for political reasons. That is far from proven. But in general, all factions have their demented crazies, and the other side always tries to imbue it with more meaning. And then he goes on to talk about a whole bunch of times.
We literally have video footage from, a year and 9 months ago now, of people roaming the halls of the Capitol building with weapons in their hands. And if you want to argue what kind of weapons, we can say safely we definitely know via those videos. People are holding sticks and pointed, flag poles and things like that. If you want to argue that though you didn't see anything inside. Yeah. Roaming the halls screaming, "Where's Nancy? Nancy, come out. Where are you?" I mean, literally that was the thing. Literally, specifically targeting Nancy Pelosi, probably the most targeted individual of all the people there, even maybe more so than even Mike Pence, based on the videos we've heard.
I know
they
she
were
was
looking
in the Capitol building, but would you say more than AOC?
I would say, yeah, Nancy Pelosi is easily the most targeted person in that thing. There were definitely people, they definitely were all, especially bigger names like AOC. But I mean, I don't think I've seen anything that's so specific in terms of how many people I saw specifically seeking out Nancy Pelosi. I mean, the whole thing of being in her office was a whole thing on the right with them, rummaging through her stuff and putting their feet on her desk and silly shit like that.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so sorry. On to what happened here. So I don't know if you know this. Tim Pool, the really good internet account, Tim Pool Clips, has documented that Tim Pool's number one source is the Daily Mail, and his number three source is Andy No. So, well, that was actually back in the day. I think him and Andy No had a bit of a falling out. He maybe doesn't use him as much as he used to. Back in the day, back when they had the numbers, his number three source was Andy No and Andy No's tweets. Andy No, the guy who protects Proud Boys and all that kind of stuff. This is one of those things where it starts to appear in other people's tweets, such as Andy No and stuff, reiterating the picture of the pride flag and stuff like that, and then definitely running cover for the person, being like, "Oh, this individual was not in fact a leftist. They were, clearly pro LGBTQ. Sorry, not a rightist, not a right winger. They pro LGBTQ. Look at all the stuff. They were living in a hippie commune. They love drugs." Steven Crowder does a live stream. He's also tweeted out two tweets that I used. Paul Pelosi's attacker, sorry, this is a quote from Steven Crowder. Paul Pelosi's attacker was not a MAGA extremist. He was a nudist. He broke into a house with a hammer and has claimed in the past that he thinks that he was Jesus. I'm not a clinical psychologist, but it sounds like he was just insane. And then Steven Crowder asks, is there anything about the Paul Pelosi story that seems fishy to you? And to be honest, yeah, your response to it, like the fact that the dude, like, homie is posting on Maine, "Hey, I hate the Jews, I hate women, the election was stolen, go MAGA," and like, what does he have to? Does he have to do the Charles Manson thing, like carve MAGA rules into his forehead before people are like, "Oh, okay, makes sense now"? God damn.
Right. I mean, it is, again, you mentioned it like in the very beginning, the idea that there are no nudists in the Trump supporter world. I mean, come on. I mean, please. Yeah, you don't think there's some, you don't think some weird, even beyond the nudist nudist thing, you don't think there's some weird subcultures in the Trump world? I mean, I'll guarantee you there's probably like a huge subset of like swingers for Trump or something like that.
Oh, dude, okay, so you know how right-wingers
love Roger Stone, right?
Cucks as an insult. Roger Stone is a literal cuck. I'm not saying that as an insult. Cuck shouldn't be an insult. If you want to cuck, that's your thing, consensually, go cuck. Be cucks or cuck. It doesn't matter to me. But like the fact that every single thing is like, fucking snowflake cucks and fucking blah blah. He's like he's a literal cuck. That's his thing. Yeah. And course, I should also add, the QAnon shaman is a fucking, by most measures, a hippie. He believes in fucking energy, wavelengths, fucking crystals, all that shit, and demanded to have all organic meals while in prison, and they refused because it's fucking prison. Like, that's just not how it works, dog. But like, yeah, is that weird to you? Because like, he's a right-wing MAGA hippie.
Well, you just provided all the evidence, Lance, that the QAnon shaman was Antifa in disguise.
Fuck, I heard that one too. I was like, what the fuck?
I mean,
January 6th was a false flag by Antifa.
That's the thing, though. We could debunk. And I think it is important because I do think there are a lot of just normal people who really don't get the, individuals of where they land on the political spectrum, and they just hear shit and like, oh, I wonder if that's true, and they hear someone else refute it and they go, oh, maybe that's. And so I do think it's important. But if anyone is listening to this thinking I'm trying to reach out to like hardcore MAGA people, no, they will always find a way to contort and like get their, they'll literally put their body in a pretzel to make it sound sensible to them that this is all just some sort of anti-right wing, left wing, story or something. Like they will continue to tie themselves in knots until they are able to make it make sense to themselves.
Yep.
So let's get to this third now. And someone did ask, and I do have to ask you, being that before I forget. Super chat from Ezekiel Mordecai. asking you specifically. This is a $25 super chat too. So
Oh, you got to honor that. Hell
yeah.
yeah. Thanks for supporting Matt Binder and his show.
Yes, thank you. So Lance, the question is actually for you though. In your graphic, why are their eyes closed? The eyes of the human centipede members are all closed. I will say they don't look human to begin with. So I don't know what.
It's okay, fair enough. I was just kind of like, I was in the middle of my stream and I was like, I want to make a graphic for my appearance on the Matt Binder show. And so I was doing this live, and I was also like, I don't want to bore people by making this art and trying to figure out all these details. Also, I don't know why it fucked up the bottom. It like blurred it for some reason. Anyways, so yeah, it's not my best work. Okay, I have done better. I like some of my cartoons, but this is not it. Why are their eyes closed? I don't know. If you were in a human centipede, would you want to do it eyes open? That seems more horrifying to me.
See, here's the thing though. Their eyes
One man's
don't look.
opinion.
Their eyes don't look like they're closed because they don't want to watch and they can't bear it. Their eyes look like they're like sensually closed, like as if they're enjoying.
Oh, well, actually, that would be more true to fact, because they do fucking love this shit. They love eating each other's feces and fucking spraying it into each other's mouths. That is so true. All right, no, I stand by it. I stand by my art. Yeah, I'm gonna defend it more.
You should. I would stand by. Maybe even mint it as an NFT, and then you could come on Scam Economy, and we could talk about it. So what is the third member of the human centipede here?
Okay, so the third member of the human centipede, and I watched it today. If you haven't, holy fuck, Matt, you got a content farm in watching Jimmy Dore's latest video on this shit. Of course, he's got Kurt Metzger, who's I guess just the co-host officially at this point. We can kind of say Jimmy Dore's co-host is Kurt Metzger because he's in every single fucking episode. But anyways, it's the two of them, and they're going off about how this is a gay conspiracy. This is LGBTQ. This is clearly a person who was involved. Again, he uses one tweet to provide all of his evidence. That's like the basis for all of his. It's just one person's tweet who I looked into the person, and they were an Democrat turned right winger who thinks progressives are destroying society and the very fabric of society. It was like some weird account like that. But anyways, Jimmy Dore does a whole segment on it. Breitbart's done segments on it. I put Stormfront in as a meme. I have no idea what they've said about this, but that's just basically to sully the water. But hey, I'm intellectually honest about that. Jackson Hinkle is obviously tweeting out about this. I haven't seen him if he's done a live stream about it, but Jackson Hinkle, by the way, really fucking, the guy is blown up. He's massive on Rumble. He's bigger than fucking Vosh or Destiny or any
on
of those
Rumble?
other on both Rumble and YouTube. He streams on Rumble as well. But Rumble puts him on the front page. Rumble puts Jackson Hinkle and Salty C-word. I have to say C-word because it's not legal on Twitch for me to say it. Oh, hold on. I got to go for 1 second, Matt. This the fan repairman is here. Give me.
Oh, you got a fan repairman. Okay.
I gotta let him inside the house.
All right. I will edit this small portion out for the podcast, but basically Lance told me, yeah, let's stream tonight, but one thing, there's gonna be a guy coming over to fix a fan, and I was like, oh great, we can put him on the stream and get the repairman to tell us some analysis on the issues. We could get an opinion from the working man, a real blue collar stiff. I don't think he's going to do that, but yeah. Zombified says the only good thing Demi Jor ever did was spit on Alex Jones. I forgot about that. Oh my god. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I'm sure he would lick that spit back up if the current Jimmy Dore was
Sorry, give me one sec.
No, it's all right. Oh, Anastasia in the chat says Glenn Greenwald is on Tucker right now discussing this. Ooh, what is he saying, Anastasia?
Then Greenwood is on Tucker Carlson?
Right now, apparently. I don't have cable, so I can't.
Isn't it on the internet?
Oh, I guess maybe. I'm sure someone on YouTube is streaming it, like those illegal streams.
Oh yeah, we can't endorse that. Okay, so sorry, I completely apologize. I just had to let them in. Where was I? Oh yeah, so
Oh,
Jackson
wait, you're not on
Hinkle,
the feed. I don't see your face. I don't see your face.
My
You shut
face
your
is
camera
on
off, I think.
Oh shit, hold on. Okay,
There we
am I
go.
back?
Yep, you're back.
Sorry about that.
All right, let's just reset. We were going to the next. We were going. What were we doing? We were going to the last centipede, or was there something else?
Well, I was just going to explain the last couple things. So OWN and Newsmax, obviously, they're doing reports on the whole. Like, I mean, most people are taking this as carefully as they can, except for like a handful of people. But like other people are just going full Alex Jones with it, as in like, are you just rolling the dice on what is slander or libel? But sure, go nuts. By adding the like, we're just asking questions. There are lots of questions that are unanswered. That's the talking point on OWN stories, on Newsmax stories, and obviously people are just using that as some kind of defense. And then comes the Santa Monica Observer. Now, the Santa Monica Observer, and this is one of my favorite parts of this entire story. The Santa Monica Observer is a conspiracy theory ridden rag, just trash of the highest order. But this is what segues us into the final phase of the human centipede here, and that is the world's richest human, Elon Musk. Hillary Clinton tweets out a story, and Elon Musk replies with a link to that article in the Santa Monica Observer. The Santa Monica Observer, the very same one that had previously reported that Hillary Clinton was in fact dead.
Listen,
that was one of my favorite things. I was like,
what,
oh my God.
What did he say? What did he say again? It was really funny. Hold on, I want to read verbatim what he said was. It was so funny. It was like someone trying to sound reasonable while tweeting out the most insane shit ever. Where is it? Oh yeah, so he goes, so it's a Hillary tweet that basically says, it says, where is this here? Okay. It says, the Republican Party and its mouthpieces now regularly spread hate and deranged conspiracy theories. It is shocking but not surprising that violence is the result. As citizens, we must hold them accountable for their words and actions that follow. And she included an LA Times article that basically gets into his, David DePepe's beliefs in, far-right conspiracy theories, QAnon, etc. And then Elon Musk tweets a reply to her that says, there is a tiny possibility there might be more to this story than meets the eye. And the article he sends out is something like, hold on, let me pull up the awful truth. It is so ridiculous. It's so like fucking insane. Like the headline. The awful truth, Paul Pelosi was drunk again and in a dispute with a male prostitute early Friday morning. I mean, this is a tiny possibility there might be something to this story that meets the eye. Do you like my Elon Musk, by the way? This weird movement he does when he talks. I don't even understand what he does. He's so weird and bizarre. What an odd guy.
I still can't believe this part of the story. Like the fact that he tweeted it out to Hillary Clinton, the world's richest human being and the owner of Twitter, days after acquiring Twitter and making some decisions that a lot of people have been like, what you doing here, Elon? Why is the N-word suddenly increasing by 500% on the platform since you came? That's not a great look. What's going on? Decides he wants to promote the QAnon conspiracy theorist pipeline, which sucks too. I mean, jokes aside, it's really fucked up that that's the world we live in. He deleted it and then has just quietly not talked about it since. And obviously it's pretty fucked up for him to have done that. And now Fox News, Tucker Carlson is reporting pretty heavily on whether or not Nancy Pelosi's husband was in fact a homosexual or a bisexual, I don't want to do bi erasure here, who may have been inviting, again, a 42-year-old Canadian sex worker to his house in the middle of the night, knowing full well that his wife would be home at a certain point.
My favorite was the people the right. My favorite was the right wingers in Elon's mention saying, "Be careful, Elon. She might Epstein you or something like that," as if Hillary Clinton is like someone more powerful than literally the richest fucking guy in the world. Elon Musk is the one who would be pulling the strings, even no matter how powerful and almighty you think Hillary Clinton is. She is literally a no one compared to Elon Musk in the scheme of things. This guy, most powerful man on the planet based on the fact that he's the richest guy in the world. He owns a car company. He owns a space exploration company. One of like 2 or 3 other companies doing the space exploring to begin with. So he's like almost got a monopoly there if it wasn't for what's his face from Amazon. Bezos. And he just bought Twitter, his very own little media empire right there. And he's the one who's got to watch out for Hillary Clinton. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, listen, we could make jokes about Hillary Clinton and Vince Foster and things like that. But in this scenario, Hillary Clinton's the one that better watch out. I mean,
well, I do have one thing to add. I want to do a correction. It turns out it wasn't just that the Santa Monica Observer, Elon Musk's source, had previously said Hillary Clinton had died. They said that she had died on 9/11 and it was replaced by a body double. That was the source that Elon Musk chose to use.
Thank you for correcting yourself there.
Tweet. Yes.
It's important to know.
So, we got to keep ourselves accountable.
Right,
but I mean, at this point, the problem with, and the whole point of my drawing for you is that once you reach the end of the centipede, with the fact that it's being mainstreamed by Tucker Carlson, maybe I don't know what he's saying to Glenn Greenwald or vice versa, but I'm sure I'll be watching those clips tomorrow. But it's now mainstream for other media outlets to be like, well, we're just asking questions. Like, what's the official narrative? It's hard to know what's going on here.
Right. No, absolutely. I guess this is the part where we should talk a little bit more about Elon Musk, right? I mean, we just mentioned Elon pushing this shit. He literally is the first stream, doomed stream and episode since he officially became the owner of Twitter on Friday. And this guy is already tweeting out that conspiratorial link that you mentioned. He's already firing swaths of Twitter executives. And now, listen, I don't care about the livelihoods of Twitter executives. They'll all be fine. They're all way richer than I'm sure I will ever be. But if you care...
They got like a $42 million termination bonus
he's trying not to pay them that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They will, and mark my words, successfully sue him in court and make even more money than they would have gotten. And the epic fucking, he can troll because he can afford it, he can do that. It's epic memes, but at the end of the day, they're getting their fucking money because no way in hell is the corporate world not agreeing with him on that one. But it's like, I like, my favorite part about this is the right soyed out so hard on the fact that he came in and fired the senior executives. And I was like, of course he did. This is a takeover. It would have been weirder if he didn't fire the senior executives after everything they've been through. What's wrong with all of you? How do you not recognize this? This is so par for the course. It's absolutely astounding and laughable. You're supposed to be the capitalist. You're the ones that love this shit. This is what you do. If you take over a company, you want to surround yourself in your inner circle with people who are most likely going to be ideologically aligned with you. It would have been so much weirder if Elon went in and was like, all right, wild card, baby. Let's roll the dice. Let's see how things go. Look, I'm surrounded by my previous enemy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but the site is obviously in turmoil now because you lost people who were running the place, and then you have people who are quitting. They're head of like Twitter ads. Again, I'm sure everyone listening to this is like, oh, I hate Twitter advertising, but literally the person who helps bring in any revenue at all at Twitter just resigned. Which this is a guy who is scrounging to find out how to monetize the site. And his head of ad sales, like his head of ads, I forgot what her exact title was. She just resigned. you were going to see some people, a lot of people leave Twitter, honestly. People who kept the ship
GM Motors
running.
already has.
We're talking about advertisers now. I'm talking about people who work there, but yes, too.
Oh, yeah, that as well. Yeah.
Advertisers are going to stop advertising, and he's not helping his case, spreading that Hillary Clinton conspiratorial bullshit. He's out there on Twitter throwing out like he's going to make people pay for their verified account. No one who has a verified account is going to pay for it. Maybe you'll get some brands who pay for it because they don't want...
Matt, someone is Tim Pool admitted on his show today. Like, he was asked, he's like, you gonna pay if it was $20 a month? He's like, oh, $20? Hell yeah. Like, just scoffed it as if like, easiest $20 I ever spent.
Yeah, he's loaded. He's got a lot of money. He's literally throwing
he is.
He throws money at little Times Square billboard advertisements like it's nothing. No one is going to Times Square looking up and seeing his face and the words Timcast and going, I'm checking that out. His ads are terrible, by the way. If completely off topic, his ads explain nothing.
Say like the most watched, like between what is it, like 26 and 58-year-old on something. I was like, what the hell? What a weird thing to pay for.
Like all that money he makes, and he doesn't get an advertising person to literally just say like, listen, your ad should at least explain to complete normies what the fuck it is that you are and what you do. But. Yeah, I digress. That's for another day.
Hey, if he wants to waste his money, I'm more than happy to watch him.
He can throw away $20. No, but there's also going to be people who don't want to pay Elon Musk $20 or $8, whatever it is now. He's haggling with Stephen King, the horror author Stephen King on Twitter, because Stephen King said if he has to pay for his verified check, and I'll guarantee you Stephen King's got more money than Tim Pool, so it's a question of priorities, not funding.
Yes.
Stephen King says if he has to pay for his check, he's not even going to use Twitter anymore. Because
I agree with his rationale. They should pay me. They should pay me.
Well, Elon Musk is also saying with that money, he's going to look into paying creators. That's bullshit. And even if he does, the minuscule amount, do you know how is that even going to work on Twitter? How's it even gonna work? I know there are some Twitter accounts, like big brand Twitter accounts, that get payment from the ads that roll on their videos.
They're brand friendly accounts, so that's actually why I applied for verification, was because I'm not going to out them, but someone told me who has a big account, they're like, oh yeah, I get money from the ad revenue. And I was like, what? You get paid for your posts? I want that. So that's why I tried to get verified, and it's only for a select small amount of verified partner safety brand accounts. Yeah,
very, very few. They don't show ads on the videos unless you're part of that deal. And the only ads I've ever seen on any sort of left-leaning content is like the Young Turks videos. Now, I don't know if Young Turks are part of the program. I have no inside knowledge of that, but they're probably the only left-leaning.
Mine is gamers.
What was that?
Like gaming accounts. I've seen a lot of gaming accounts that have the ads.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, there's no money in politics on the left, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's no ads. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, his plans are ridiculous. He's haggling with Stephen King. He literally goes into his replies and goes, okay, you don't want to play $20. How about $8? Would you pay $8?
That was 10 minutes later. That was like 10 minutes later. He came back. Like, I know that feeling. I've done that before, where you finish the tweet, you walk away, you're about to, like, I don't know, fry up some food, and then you're like, fuck, it's bugging me. Okay, wait, no, I'm getting back in. And then you have to do that, like, little additional tweet. But that's so sad. I hope anyone who sees that, like, the last holdouts, the last internet weirdos who still idolize them as some kind of genius or something, I hope that's the moment, the sobering moment, where they're like, oh God, this is really embarrassing.
My favorite tweet about this all wasn't even from Musk. I had to share it, and it got a lot of attention because it's really that funny. A crypto outlet with over 1 million Twitter followers and over 1 million subscribers on YouTube tweets out, Twitter CEO Elon Musk says everyone on Twitter can get verified for $8 a month. With 238 million daily active users, that could mean 1.9 billion additional revenue for Twitter per month every month. What do you think? And I had to share that tweet and go, when you read things like this, you really get an understanding of why so many people in crypto lose all their money. If you don't understand why that tweet is so funny from that Altcoin Daily Twitter account, it's because no company, no brand, no ad, no product, no service on the planet ever gets a 100% conversion rate.
conversion rate.
I can tell you, as someone who worked in this field early on,
it's like 5, isn't it? On the internet.
I worked in social media and online advertising stuff as a freelancer in my later years of college, and out of college, I did a lot of freelance stuff in this world. And then as a tech reporter, I'm also very familiar with some of the stats and details here. The average conversion rate for e-commerce, and this is talking like big brands, this is talking products and services, physical products and services, things like that. We're talking, this is all included. We're talking things like products that people buy. We're talking conversion rates, the average conversion rate, usually less than 5%, more likely
nice.
between 1 and 3%. Because people don't pay for things online. Like the number
that
of people
they can get for free otherwise.
Right. Like that's the thing too. That's why that conversion is going to be even less. Because I'm talking like, it's let's say a 3% conversion rate for like, I don't know, Netflix advertising their subscription plans. And again, I don't know Netflix specifically. I'm just using them as an example company. People pay for Netflix because they want to get something they can't use otherwise. Let's even go more specific, because I bet someone's going to be like, well, I can just borrow an account from a password from my friend. We're talking products like, I don't know, clothing retailers, electronic companies selling like laptops or whatever. Less than 5% conversion rate on those type of products for the amount of people who see their ads. If we're talking a free product, on a social media product on that, social media stuff traditionally does not convert either, because people don't want to spend money on this sort of thing that for the vast majority of the user base is just for fun, entertainment purposes, things to do when they're bored. Not even like destination entertainment. Not like, going to the movies because they want to see this movie they've been looking forward to, like the next Marvel movie or whatever. We're talking like shit posting because they're bored entertainment. People are not going to pay for that. They can just go to Facebook and do it. They can just go to Instagram and do it. They go to TikTok and do it. Go to YouTube and do it.
But you know who is? Crypto bros. I was like, this appeals to one market demographic so strongly. Actually, 2. The first one I'll say, people who have more money than sense, aka people who made a lot of money in crypto and want verification for worthless shit. Because that is basically the entire crypto scene to me. Like, that's the only person. Like, Twitter already tried this. They had the NFTs, as you can change out your logo with NFTs, and people got mocked ruthlessly. It's like, it's the mark of the rube. So that's what the new Twitter verification badge is going to be. It's like, are you willing to spend $20 a month to make Elon Musk more rich to get that? The other problem is that, think of the potential now for all the disinformation campaigns from foreign actors to suddenly have a verified way of posting misinformation about conflicts. What if a Russian bot farm suddenly wants to become a news agency that's verified by Twitter? They can do that for a mere price of $8 a month. They get on there and suddenly they're like, yes, here's a whole bunch of complete lies and bullshit. And then bigger accounts retweet that and like, oh, apparently the so-and-so is reporting, the Kremlin Gremlin is reporting that this is an important part of the war that we should know about. You've facilitated that. You've now given anyone who wants it the ability to be a trusted source that verification used to provide, basically.
Right. Emmy in the chat says, Matt, explain what conversion rate means. That basically means the percentage of people who view your advertisement, how many of them actually go ahead and then purchase said product or service they were being advertised. So that means
the click-through rate is really low too. You should mention that. Like, even people who are willing to see an ad and then click on the ad, like, that is so low. Think of all of you watching right now. Just think of how many times you ignore advertising in your life because we are inundated with it. If you walk down the street, billboards, titties, oh God, I want to buy burgers, video games, shit all over the place, right? Like, so we have kind of turned it into white noise. You turn that part of your brain off when you see a car ad because they're all the same and you hate them and you're like, So think of how many times you'd actually see an ad. How many in your life? How many times have you seen an ad or a banner or pop-up and clicked on it genuinely, as in like, oh, this is of interest to me. I want to see what is going on, you know?
Right. No, absolutely right. And you know, off what you were saying on the NFT thing, like, this is totally, if this actually happens, this is going to be as maligned, like you were saying, as the NFT thing was. Like, people are gonna scorch whoever still has that verified check for paying for it.
Oh yeah.
But like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He keeps arguing that this is a way, because his biggest issue was the spam and the bots and the fake accounts and the scam accounts that are just like using these bots and fake accounts to scam people. And he's convinced in every tweet that he tries to make sense of this, that, oh, this is the way to, get rid of the bots and the scam accounts because they're not going to pay for this. He is out of his mind because, again, I have experience in this area. People who partake in scams and partake in spam, they go to various black marketplaces. And I'm not going to advertise them here. I know of like 6 off the top of my head that I actually check every now and then to see if there's anything newsworthy to write about on there. You will regularly see people selling verified accounts that they got verified through somebody they knew at Twitter, or a verified account that they stole that's been long abandoned or whatever. And these verified accounts sell to scammers and spammers for thousands of dollars. Even more if these are big, like a lot of followers. These verified accounts have a lot of followers, but like minimum, we're talking $1,000, $2,000 for a verified account with not that many followers. And they buy it full well knowing they'll probably just get a few tweets out, maybe if they're lucky, a few days, maybe a week of being able to promote their scam or spam their shitty, spammy affiliate product or whatever before that account gets banned. And to them, doing that is enough to make it worth it for them. So to say, oh, you could have unlimited verified accounts for every account you pay $8 a month for, they're fucking, they got money signs in their eyes right now. They're going, cha-ching, we're about to make a shit ton of money verifying all of our accounts and like saying like, oh, yeah, like $8 is nothing. Like literally they just gotta scam one fucking boomer out of $1,000, and they just paid for a lifetime of Twitter verified services. They could cover it for a lifetime every month. Like literally, like it's ridiculous.
It's
like,
gonna tank it. It's also so wild because I don't know about you, I'm in a weird place. I have a big account that I have grown organically. I've never paid for bots. I've never paid for followers. I post memes. I do dunks. All that kind of shit. And I'm actually very proud.
I appreciate you saying that, knowing you're talking to someone who also has a lot of followers, sort of insinuating that like, unlike some,
But no, it's kind of like, what is your dog in this race, right? And for me, I'm like, I kind of just out of the pure sick Schadenfreude want to watch him speedrun tanking this fucking company into the ground. And it will also hurt me because like, by value of the fact that I can tweet something out and it gets like, sometimes 10,000 likes or something like that, that has power. It's a big outlet. I have a voice, I can retweet causes, political shit, people's charity streams, whatever it is, I have the power to do that. And also part of me wants to watch him do this because I'm like, this is going to be a lesson to everyone going into the future of the worst possible course someone could take. Like the decisions he's making, like they're uncanny how every single person who works either in tech or in marketing has been like, you are doing the opposite of what you should do. If you try to do this, you will destroy this company. You can't have a free speech absolutist platform. It does not work. We see what happens anytime people are like, okay, you know what? Maybe the neo-Nazis can have a voice in the marketplace of ideas, and we'll just see how this whole thing plays out. And then bam, it's like, well, it's filled with neo-Nazis. Who knew? And then advertisers like Coca-Cola, Apple, whatever, they're like, I don't want my brand associated with the person saying the Holocaust never happened or kill all the Jews. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. So you lose all the major advertisers, right? In the process. You can't have it both ways. You can't be the person who freed Twitter and freed the bird and also allow the neo-Nazis to take over your platform.
I saw Mike Masnick of Tech Dirt said exactly what you said in a really short, like concise way. He said, he tweeted out, I retweeted this before, tons of people across the board have bought into the myth that Twitter's policies are driven by woke commies or whatever, when the reality is that it is literally driven by the market. Twitter is the way it is because it's what made them be able to run a platform that makes money. Advertisers do not want to advertise on a platform that people hate because it's toxic, because people are saying the N-word, because people are tweeting out Hitler memes, because people are tweeting out swastikas, because people are making it are saying homophobic things about the LGBTQ community. People do not, companies don't want to be a part of it. And you know what? Twitter isn't that great of a platform for them, even without that stuff. It actually is their model is really
it's a hostile
not that
platform.
Yeah, it's not like brands actually don't spend that much money on Twitter ads because it's just not made for it. They'd much rather spend that money on Facebook and YouTube, quite honestly, because they make more money off those platforms. Twitter, like, here's the thing: like, if Elon Musk was to come to me and say, "Matt, I've read your tweets. I know you don't like me, but I'm willing to do whatever you think, I need to do to make back the $44 billion and become profitable." And I would literally say to him, even if I wanted to help him, there's literally nothing you can do. Best case is you keep Twitter alive and making the amount of money it did before, maybe increasing profit by a little bit year after year. You will never make back $44 billion because you overpaid for this platform. It will never be worth $44 billion. There's nothing you could do to make back your money. It's literally like those celebrities who paid like $100 million for a mansion where they then customized it to say their name all over the place, to have their name literally engraved in the walls.
MC Hammer do that?
Michael Jordan, for example, has been having trouble selling his tens of millions of dollar mansion in like the Chicago suburbs because he personalized every little part of it. It says 23 all over the place. It's got Jordan. He cannot sell it. The dude cannot sell it. Because the asking price is too much, and anyone who has that type of money would just fucking buy their own mansion to customize themselves. They wouldn't buy the Michael Jordan personalized mansion.
Oh, no shit. Why would you want it? It doesn't make any sense. That's actually hilarious. I've never heard it explained that way. That makes perfect sense, though.
Like, that's Elon Musk's problem. Like, anyone, like, first of all, no one's going to ever pay $44 billion. He will never make the money back. Never, ever, 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 ever. Best case scenario, he ends up selling Twitter for a couple of $1 billion and is able to pay off some of his debts. He will never make $44 billion off this platform. It's been around since 2006. It has never been able to get anywhere near Facebook or YouTube or even TikTok.
Oh, it doesn't come close. It doesn't come close. If you look at the rankings of social media, it's so far near the bottom in terms of its regular users and interactivity.
It is literally what Twitter was really good at doing was it ingrained itself inside very specific industries that the media loves, including the media industry itself, to the point where it became part of the everyday daily story, news day. Like, happens on Twitter, it makes news. Celebrities know, I want to make news. I go on Twitter and say something, share something, whatever.
And people can share the news in real time. That was the big selling point. You could have politicians inside the Senate being like, right now something is being read, and then boom, and then a check mark says it, and then a news reporter is like, oh my God, okay, this is news now.
But here's the funny thing Elon Musk is about to learn that people within the news media industry have known since the dawn of the internet. Guess what? People are not going to fucking pay you for the news. It's why the newspapers and the cable companies are having so many problems. Why CNN Plus died after a few months. People do not pay for the news. it is important for them to know about this stuff, and they think because it's important for them to know, it should come to them for free. And if it doesn't come to them for free, they won't pay for it. And guess what? If they don't pay for it because it's so important and people seek it out, there's a ton of people willing to make a lot less to give it to them to scrounge up whatever's out there for the free news stuff. I mean, you literally see it in all these different news outlets. There's no money in it, but people still go to this stuff, and these news outlets make whatever they can off of ads and the few people that will pay. Elon Musk is about to learn this hard lesson after he paid $44 billion. Twitter provides a service to the media industry, the news industry, maybe a group of a couple thousand or 10,000 celebrities and influencers. But guess what? All these industries, there's no money in it. There's no money in this stuff. There's like money in making Hollywood movies, and guess what? They go to YouTube and stuff to do videos and stuff. They're not going to come to Twitter to do it.
Well, not if Twitter becomes the N-word app. Like,
right.
Why is Disney or fucking any brand going to come over to Twitter to advertise their movie when it's like, oh, you on that neo-Nazi website that just loves the N-word and being super transphobic? No, not touching that. The other thing, Matt, I don't know if you know this, 85% of Twitter's revenue comes from ads. The rest of that percentage, the rest of the pie that's left, came from the sale of your data, because that is also a market for social media companies, as they sell your data and your information. If you don't have a user base, you don't have that 15%. If you don't have a clean, or at least the appearance of a clean website, as in, yes, we do have a terms of service. We don't allow the marginalization of Black people, Indigenous people, trans people, blah, blah, blah. If you don't at least even try to put on airs, because everyone kind of plays loose with their TOS. Steven Crowder gets away with the worst shit all the time, right? But you still, to be advertiser friendly, need to put on the appearance of it. Elon Musk's entire takeover and brand now centers around him destroying the appearance of that. The whole thing is about him fucking freeing the bird. Twitter's chief Twit and comedy is back on Twitter apparently, like fucking even Dane Cook I was like, Dane Cook, oh, whoa, I haven't heard about this guy since the fucking like the 90s. Even he's like, are we allowed to be funny on Twitter? Blah blah blah. Fucking,
when are you gonna start, buddy?
Yeah, I know. My pet peeve is the fact, like, fucking comedian, because I love comedy. I'm a massive comedy fan. I think old Dave Chappelle was the GOAT kind of shit, right? I can't stand comedians who are like, you're not allowed to make jokes anymore. I was like, you're just fucking bad now. That's it, son.
Listen, I've said the same thing. Like, we say, literally, if you could find a funny way to say something that you think you can't say, and not do it in a demeaning way, you can literally, to like a minority group or the marginalized, you can literally say whatever you want. Like, you could literally, like, yeah. There will be people who complain, but I do think that if you were like somehow the comedian who could, you could make a trans joke, you could make a joke using the N-word, you could say any of this shit, if you punched in the right direction and made it really fucking funny, and yeah, you'd get people complaining. Guess what? That's the fucking point of an edgy joke. That's the one thing I never get. People who are like, oh, I can't make edgy jokes anymore. If people weren't complaining about your joke, it wasn't edgy. Like, that's the whole purpose. Like, what do you mean? I'm an edgy comedian that cries whenever someone gets. If people are complaining about your shit, you're not edgy, man. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, like if you could actually be funny, the majority of people would say, man, that was a joke that was funny and with a purpose. They get away with saying whatever that word was. But guess what? You guys aren't talented enough to do that.
Yep. No, I totally agree. I got a great example for what you just said, Matt. I saw Bill Barr in Canada, and he used the word natives. And in Canada, typically, we call Indigenous people Indigenous, right? So he used the word, and the crowd kind of did a whole like, oh, right afterwards. And then right after, he was like, oh, did I not use the right word? Are you upset about that? Are you going to give them their land back? No? Oh, so you just care about which words I call them. Oh, okay, but you don't actually care about them or what they get or their lives. You're just upset about the language I'm using. You fucking Canadians, you think you're the good whites.
Right, that's exactly the type of joke, and everyone thinks he's hilarious.
Super edgy. Yeah,
he's widely beloved across the spectrum, and everyone thinks he's really funny because guess what? He momentarily punched down in order to punch back up. Like that's the
Yes, that's it.
and so he was able to be edgy and say whatever the fuck he wanted because at the end of the joke, it was really friggin' funny and he wasn't demeaning people.
Yeah, exactly. And again, he's punching up. He's bringing attention to a very serious topic, and he's being edgy along the way. But that's like, it's not the edginess I think anyone on the left or progressives have a problem with. It's like where the joke's headed. If you're just like, yeah, fucking trans, fucking penis, lol. Hey, Ricky Gervais special, trans people have penises, lol. You know, like that. If that's all it is, and that's your punchline, then this is fucking. You're a hack. You know, that's what we're complaining about. And we're not canceling you. We're saying you suck. There's a difference between saying you fucking suck and your joke and I'm not going to pay to see your shows anymore versus you're actually being canceled. Like you've lost your platforms or whatever. Like an Andrew Tate has happened.
Right. I will say people have been asking me if I'm going to leave. And of course I'm not going to leave Twitter. I'm going to go down with that shit because I want to see it. I want to see it in flames.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, the final days.
And then people are asking me, oh, what platform are you going to go to if once Twitter's gone? Well, I'm actually, I should have done this a long time ago. You can't depend on these platforms. I've always known it, but I've always been too lazy. You can't depend on them. There is nothing that's comparable to having the email address of your supporters and listeners. So I have set up a way for people to just go to my Twitter profile and with one click of a button, you can subscribe. Basically, you give me your email address. Twitter.com/Matt Binder. Right on my profile page, you literally click a button because if you're signed into Twitter, you're signed in with your email and I automatically get your email address when you click that little subscribe button. Do that. That is so no matter what happens, whether Twitter shuts down, whether it stays open, but we're all driven off and I got to go somewhere else, but then that platform dies. No matter what happens, I will be able to get in touch with you. You'll be able to find my content, subscribe, give me your email address. And you should do the same if you're not already doing this, Lance, because there is nothing comparable. There is nothing comparable. There's no platform that could die that will take away the email address. Gmail, Yahoo, those companies ain't going anywhere.
How much do you sell your email address package for? Have you put a value on it yet?
Oh no, I'm not gonna. I could for people who are about to give me their email. Let me assure you, I will not be selling your email address to any third parties, especially spammy users who put out spammy content. Like the Serfs.
That's funny. I didn't know that. I hadn't even thought of it. It seems kind of boomer to me, like analog. And I'm old as fuck, but like
you'll be shocked to know that when we were talking conversion rates before, there is nothing that converts better than an old fashioned email.
Really?
It is still the number one,
right? You get that like Matt Binder, like in my face kind of thing.
I mean, I see an email in my, on Twitter, you could just ignore stuff. On Facebook, you just ignore stuff in your email, even if you getting, ads from companies that, you accidentally signed up for, you got to get rid of it if you don't want it in your inbox. So you have to still look at it to delete it. Like even if you're just reading the headline, they have your eyeballs in a way that social media doesn't. You could just scroll past. You want to clean your inbox though, right? You can't really just.
Interesting. All right, I've learned some things.
So I'm full on the give me your email address train because that's going to be the one thing that I can depend on. Who knows who's going to buy YouTube? Oh, actually. That's the thing. People always say like, oh, why didn't Elon buy something else? Well, because he couldn't afford it. Twitter's literally the only one he was able to afford, and he overpaid immensely for it.
I saw so many crypto bros being like, buy Alphabet, take over YouTube. I was like, buy Alphabet? Are you fucking, what the hell? Do you know how much value there is in the Alphabet empire? Do you think Elon Musk, even as the world's richest human, he alone could afford that? He could liquidate all of his stock tomorrow, and I still don't think he'd have enough. Like, Alphabet is worth so much fucking money.
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Elon Musk paid $44 billion for Twitter, right? And usually companies are valued generally multiple times their yearly revenue, right? In this case, he had to buy, all the stocks. So it's a little bit different valuation there, but it's around that, I think like anywhere from like 5 to 10 years times the yearly revenue. In 1 year, Alphabet made $182 billion. Elon had to get financing to pay $44 billion for Twitter.
Yeah, a lot of it came from the Saudi royals too, right?
Yes, but I think they were already investors
They
in
were,
Twitter.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were big investors.
Twitter's
That's
never
fucking
been
ridiculous.
none of these platforms are quote unquote good.
No, and I hope everyone knows that like I use Twitter as an addict. A fully like I can admit that I'm an addict. That's one of the reasons why I like using it. Also, I'm a weirdo. I think it's for the fucking the freaks, the people who want to get deep in the muck. I actually love the marketplace of ideas. I know the left always gets blamed for not wanting to battle in the marketplace. I love battling fucking right wingers on Twitter. It's one of my
Oh yeah,
favorite
that's
things.
listen. People always say, oh, you want to live in your safe space, you leftist, snowflake.
Yeah, you snowflakes.
I mean,
cucks.
honestly, I could say this as someone who's, not a person of color. I am ethnically a Jew, but listen, I got very thick skin. In fact, some people would call me a masochist. I live for this shit. I love it. I would love for every right winger on the planet. Bring back Milo. Bring back Alex Jones. Bring back these motherfuckers for me to spar with on Twitter. I would love it. Personally, I would love it. But I'm also not a selfish, self-centered a-hole, and I realize that there are people out there on these platforms that are hurt by these individuals, and the things they say do mean things to those people and affect them in very real ways.
Oh, and yeah. You want to talk about cancel culture? Fucking try being trans on Twitter. Try being like visibly indigenous on Twitter or black on Twitter. That's where you'll get cancel culture. That's where you'll get fucking accounts mass flagging you, filling it up with you should Roblox yourself, all that shit. Like and that's just by virtue of existing. That's just who you are. Like cancel culture, it's real. It comes fucking hard on fucking small accounts of people who are part of marginalized communities. Like that's just the world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys, the right wingers we talked about in the beginning with the Pelosi stuff, and Elon Musk is in there as well. Then Elon Musk and his group of confidants who he brought in. I don't know if you're familiar with them. He brought in.
I thought he fired the entire board and now he's the sole director.
Oh no! But he brought in a bunch of confidants, some VC
I didn't
people,
know that.
VCs.
Oh, do tell.
David Sachs, who runs that app Callin.
Wait, isn't he associated with Teal or JD Vance?
Yes.
Oh,
he brought him in.
No way.
He brought in
right wingers.
He brought in Jason Calacanis.
Sachs is the person who acquired eBay. Oh man, that's
crazy. He brought in a bunch of A16Z people, the big VC firm that invests all that money. The Andreessen Horowitz. I talk about them all the time on Scam Economy because they're the big VC firm that throws all their money into the crypto projects now. He brought in all these folks who are now the ones, again, the people who push all this terrible crypto shit on you are the ones telling Elon Musk where to take Twitter. It's amazing.
So it probably all makes sense now then. That's kind of part of the plan because I know Web 3.0 is having a lot of trouble launching, and obviously for pretty self-evident reasons. The technology is garbage and the idea behind it is horrifying to say the least. Like trying to make it like I think Mooncat put it best. She was like, they're trying to find a world in which it will be economically infeasible for a company not to put your permanent health records on the blockchain, which again is going to be a permanent ledger of everything about you. So she's like, that's a horrifying future no one should ever hope for. They're the ones now pushing for this, hoping that Twitter will be the vessel in which they can get through. That's wild. That's absolutely wild.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we'll it'll be fun to watch what goes down. Unfortunately, a platform that does have importance in how news breaks will go down with it. I don't think there's anything. That's the thing too. People compare this to MySpace, but that's not. It's not comparable. Maybe how Twitter goes down will be comparable to MySpace because you can see the similarities. Big company that knows nothing about social media buys MySpace for a ton of money and immediately tanks it because they don't know how to run a social media platform. and then they sell it off for pennies on the dollar. That'll probably happen with Elon Musk with Twitter. But what helped kill MySpace was Fox ruined it. News Corp ruined it. But people had a place to go. Yeah. Facebook was just growing. Facebook was getting big. With Twitter, there's a ton of places to go now, but none of them replicate Twitter. So it'll be interesting to see what. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
They're echo chambers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, there's no. Yeah, you can't count the right-wing platforms like Truth Social, Parler. They're not
Parler,
the same.
Gab, they're all right-wing echo chambers, and two extreme right-wing echo chambers. You need that's why people want Twitter, is because you want to be able to interact with anyone you want. You want to be able to call out the proles, call out the rich people, call out Seth Rogen if you want to, because everyone uses it, right?
Right. And then, but here's the thing too. Like Jack Dorsey is apparently working on a new platform called Blue Sky.
I think that one will actually do well.
Here's the thing, though.
Of all the ventures,
there's proof that Jack Dorsey was very instrumental in getting Elon. I mean, he's the one who told Elon he should buy Twitter, which set off this whole thing. We have the texts because Elon Musk's personal texts came out as part of the lawsuit, right? And there's speculation that Jack Dorsey would work with Elon Musk to bring Twitter into that platform, because basically Jack Dorsey's not creating a standalone platform. He's creating like a protocol that he wants all social media platforms to use. So I don't think that would be whatever that's going to be. That's going to be an alternative either. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, it's incredible to see how this all has gone to shit so fast, and how even the Nancy Pelosi conspiracy theory quickly got wrapped up into all this. It really is quite amazing.
Could we put a bow on this with some brand new tweets from Elon Musk that I just found?
Oh, he just tweeted something? Let's see.
He just tweeted 3 things. So Elon Musk says, "To all complainers, please continue complaining, but it will cost you $8. Totally stole the idea of charging for insults and arguments from Monty Python, to be honest." And then also, Twitter speaks to the inner masochist in all of us.
I'll say, I just said that before, actually. Wow, a true tweet from Elon Musk. I mean, yeah, that's definitely that. But see, that's the platform, and that's why he won't be able to get people to subscribe, because the vast majority of people don't want to pay to be surrounded by toxicity. And that's why he will lose advertisers, because he wants to make the platform more toxic, and they barely advertise on the level of toxicity Twitter has right now. He is
so true. Can you imagine being a black person and paying a monthly subscription to an app where people call you the N-word on? Why would you do that? Right. Why would anyone?
Right. I mean, they could literally get that for free everywhere else on the internet. Everywhere. Right. Yeah. I mean, it is. You see, that's the thing though. His tweet though about the complainers thing, like that was my guess, that all the stuff he's saying is true. He's throwing it all out there. And one by one, as all his bad ideas are absolutely flamed on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
He's going to come out and act like, they were all meant to be jokes to begin with. So his simps go, "Oh, that Elon always messing with the blue checks." I mean, and also those are the people who want to pay for the blue. Those are the few people who want to pay for the blue check. them and the scammers and spammers who already pay thousands for blue checks. They're the ones who also pay for the blue checks.
Yes,
but
it's absurd. Just piece of advice to anyone listening: if you want to run a social media account, you should make it a place where people can have safety and security if they need it or want it. That's key, right? Like if someone is on here and they hate the experience because they are called the worst things on earth, then part of that experience is that you should give them the power to make it safer for themselves. And if you don't, it's not going to be brand friendly, and then the whole thing will collapse. That's basically it.
Right. Let me ask you one more thing, Lance. Completely off topic. It's been bugging me, and I have you here. I was late to the Serfs train.
Okay.
I always say, here's Lance from the Serfs. You go by the name, the Serfs.
Yeah.
You. As far as I've seen, you are the one guy who are the Serfs.
So the Surf started out as a podcast, and it was me and my buddy Dave. And he sometimes still guests in YouTube videos that we do. So if you go to youtube.com/the Surfs TV and you watch one of the many amazing documentaries that we have, including documentaries on Gamergate, as well as one on a ContraPoint story you might not know. I worked with ContraPoints, and her stuff was banned from Amazon Prime. If you want to learn about how Amazon Prime is kind of transphobic and ban ContraPoints, go to youtube.com/the Surfs TV. But anyways, that's basically the only place he likes hanging out. He is a visible minority. He's Indian. His family is Sikh, and he does not want to have Kiwi farms and other baddies on the internet come after him because he already deals with a lot of outward racism in everyday life. I can't fucking, try and compare to what that's like. So he doesn't like doing live streams. He finds that our social media, he still does tweets every now and then, but he finds that like our social media, if he's visibly in the front, and this is just so sad, this is just how racist the world is. He gets a lot of racist comments directed at him. So that's fucked up and just the reality of the situation.
There we go.
But yeah, so that's why I do the majority of the Surf stuff. For him, it's a hobby. He's a very political person. He likes doing politics, so he likes popping up in the YouTube videos. But yeah, this is basically my full-time job.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I got fired from my job as a video editor once COVID started because the film industry shut down in Canada. It all just locked down, and then my company dissolved and fired everybody. Didn't pay a whole bunch of people overtime, and the crunch is real, just so everyone knows. And then so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna lean into the Surf stuff.
Good for you, man. I was gonna say, I thought it's the added thing that I didn't know about, where like you were forced to do. You were forced. It wasn't like things are going so great, I'm leaving my job. But that's still awesome. Like, that's the dream. Honestly, that's what I'm working towards here. So everyone, Patreon.com/MattBinder.
Bam. Do it. Never fucking discount the hustle. You got to do it, man. That's it's the internet. It's ruthless. It's
right.
tough in these streets.
Right. At the very least, give me your email, people. Remember, go to twitter.com/MattBinder. The button's right there to give me your email. It's a one-click subscribe, and I get your email address. So do that. So people, for my listeners, where can people find you if they are part of that small minority who are watching my feed and don't know who Lance from the Serfs is?
Oh, so kind of you. If you like what you hear and you want to go listen to or watch my stuff, please go to youtube.com/the Surf Times. That's where I upload daily videos on the happenings around the world. I recently uploaded one about the incredible coverage of Matt Binder on Jimmy Dore's sock account. That's up there for everyone to see and enjoy and watch my commentary watching Matt. If you want to see me react to Matt Binder's uncovery of Jimmy Dore, also using my tweet, so it's pretty streamception there. There's a couple layers. Go check it out there. And otherwise, I have the Serfs.tv is where I broadcast my streams or host people, because as soon as I sign out of here, I'm going to be hosting Matt Binder on the Serfs.tv. So if you go to the Serfs.tv, you will see the Matt Binder Power Hour or whatever show is happening after this. I'm not
right.
Sure
I'm going to take calls, but first, the second I get off with Lance in just moments, I'm gonna first do some promo plugs, take a quick 1-minute break to get a drink. And then I will go right into that Jimmy Dore stuff I teased up top.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then I'll take some calls. You can call this show on, just open up Skype, search for Doomed Live, one word. The username is Doomed Live. And you could talk to me. I'll take a few calls. I'll go maybe an hour and a half. And then we'll call it a night, and you can see me all next time. But Lance, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was an absolute...
Don't sign out. Where can people who are watching me right now find you?
Oh. You can go to youtube.com/MattBinder and subscribe there. You can go to twitch.tv/MattBinder and follow me there. At Matt Binder on Twitter for as long as that lasts. And again, most importantly, give me your email address. Give me the email address. I got to make some memes about it. I want that to be my thing. I want people to see my face and go, oh, he wants my email address. I want to be that guy. I want to be like, what's that guy on the old telemarketing ads who wore the suit with all the money signs on it, and he would run around going, it's free money. I want to be that guy, but for email addresses.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name. But yeah.
I want to be that guy, but for email. I'm going to get a suit that has the @ symbol all over it. And I'm going to run around going, give me your email. The funny thing is, I think that guy's name was Matt.
Me on, Matt.
I think that guy's name was Matt as well, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Matt.
The worst Matt.
His name was Matthew Lesko. There we go. All right. Thanks a lot, Lance. Always a pleasure. People
so
really seem to enjoy when we stream together. So whenever you want to, I'd love to do it.
I'll organize the next one. You've organized the last two, I think. And I had the one before where the two of us went toe-to-toe with Adam and Sitch and fucking had a really fun debate. I'll organize the next one.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I love collaborating with you. Like I said, you're one of the only other people I think in the progressive or leftist circle who love doing the internet sleuths with receipts, because I fucking love receipts. That's my jam. I love actually being like, well, according to the Wayback Machine, this never actually happened. And like, and you know, being like, oh God, I wish this was true, but it turns out this is a fake tweet by Matt Walsh. He never actually said that he was sexually attracted to kids, but this is a really real tweet by Matt Walsh, which is super, super creepy that he did say some fucked up stuff about impregnating 16-year-olds. So, you know, that like I like that about you. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm a legit like reporter. I do it. This is my job. Like I'm a journalist. Like you call it receipts, I just call it reporting. Like it's amazing that. But you're right though. There's not enough of that on the left who do the like. Obviously there are leftist reporters out there, but most of their work is in articles and stuff. There's not many people doing it in video format on the left, and I 100% agree with you. We need more of that.
I agree. More receipts, because we care about the facts, not the feelings here on the left.
Absolutely. Facts don't care about your feelings. Have a great night, Lance.
You too. Bye, Matt.
Bye. All right, folks. We are going to go into the second half of the show, and I'm going to give you that Jimmy Dore thing that you're all waiting for. I know a lot of you are... there we go. Now, also, let me, I need to, when I'm going to take calls, I got to fix this now. Hold on. I know, you don't see, 1 second. Okay. Just fixing that now for when I take calls. It'll be ready for you. Just fixing the, All right. To support this show, go to patreon.com/MattBinder. Like I've said, this has been a very hard month for a lot of people. I've heard from countless other Patreon creators and even people outside of even like the political world. Anyone who sells or has people subscribe to some sort of thing online, a cool product or whatever. Everyone's told me that sales, signups, subscriptions have been down these past 2 months. And I have felt that myself. So if you can, again, I always say, I'm not one of those people who is like, I need your money, please help me, my family, we're starving. No. If you cannot afford to do this, do not. Take care of yourself, your family, you and them come first. If you have extra money, a little bit of spending money, and you're like, yeah, I really like what Matt does, I want to see more of it. I want him to be able to bring someone on board so he could spread this stuff even more. He could clip more of the shows, get more clips out there, maybe do some more long-form investigative reporting. So that's where I want my money to go, my extra money to go. Then that's when you, that person, should go to patreon.com/MattBinder and subscribe to the show. I ask for $5 a month. You can give more, you can give less. And really, it just helps me have a baseline minimum of what I have to work with every month in terms of, paying for podcast hosting, paying for new equipment, buying things that I need. I told you guys I was having issues with this mic. I actually had to buy a new one. So your support is greatly appreciated if you can afford to do it. For everyone else, and even if you can afford to do it, you could do these other things too. But there's free ways to help this show too. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's free. youtube.com/MattBinder. Give me your email address. Twitter.com/MattBinder has a really cool little widget right on the profile now that if you go there, you click a button while you're logged into your Twitter account and you just automatically send me your email because Twitter already has it so they could just get it to me. It's super quick and simple. There's also a link in my bio if you want to type your email out if you're not a Twitter user. My Twitter bio. If you're not like a Twitter user and you can't do the one-click thing, you can just type it out. Go to twitch.tv/MattBinder. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, connect your Amazon account to your Twitch account and you get a free Twitch Prime subscription every month. With that free Twitch Prime subscription, you basically, at no extra cost to you, give me money. You basically force Jeff Bezos to take a small cut from the money you already pay them for your Amazon Prime subscription and give that small cut to me. It is a huge boon, a huge help. Be sure to do that. And it costs you nothing extra. We got some, we had before earlier, Prime K's rated me. Thank you so much, Prime K's. And now we got the Serfs TV Twitter account rating me. That's awesome. Stick around. We're going to get into the good stuff in just a minute. Go to doomedcast.com for all the links to the podcast version of this show. Go to scameconomy.com for my other show, Scam Economy. Had the biggest download day ever for Scam Economy just this past Monday, yesterday, Halloween. Well, when I'm streaming, yesterday, Halloween. It's a couple days later for podcast listeners. In fact, biggest download day ever for any of my shows, Doomed or Scam Economy. I did a 2-hour-long deep dive with 2 reporters with Fast Company who sat down with Yuga Labs, the company behind the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT project. It is a very revealing interview in my personal opinion. Really get into a lot of things that I don't think were widely known about the Bored Ape Yacht Club founders that the reporters were able to find out about the history of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the way the company is set up, who's involved with it. A lot of stuff very revealing about Guy Ocieri, the famous, rich, wealthy music mogul who's involved in this whole thing. Definitely check out that episode at scameconomy.com. Of course, at Matt Binder on Twitter. And I will now be going to the second half of the show. You all who are watching right now on the live stream and the Patreon subscribers will all be able to stick around. Even if you're not paying. If you're watching the live stream, stick around, watch this. For the free listeners of the podcast, this is where the episode ends for you. And this is where I say, I will see you all next time on Doomed.
Ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality, voter suppression, austerity economics, educate the masses, rampant homophobia,
We got our first caller. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What are we going to be talking about today? I don't think you are exactly what you think you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you a liberal?
I'm pro-Green New Deal. Are you? Yes, really? Absolutely. Really? I have watched the show. I've seen you completely come out and get really mad at Ocasio-Cortez for some
Yeah,
of the things in the
for-
Green New Deal.
You mean like free college for black people?
All right, we are back. That is the intro song for the second half of the show by our wonderful listener, Renee. Let me pull myself up on the feed here. Here I am. All right. All right, let's get into this Jimmy Dore thing. All right, I need to set it up because I had it so perfect that first time, the way I was able to I did that live, that video. And, usually when you're doing a live stream, you're a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit looser. And somehow I did that like almost completely as if an edited video, like just no stuttering, no fuck ups. It was amazing. It was amazing. I don't think I can repeat it, but I will try my best. All right, here we go. Let me, hold on. Let me, set this up here. I want to make sure I have everything I need. Nope, don't want to do that because that way, let me do it like this. And nope, not that. And then I'll do it like that. And then let's see if it stays like this. Then I could zoom in here. All right. Does it stay like that when I come back? Yeah, it does. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So, let's get started here. Jimmy Dore. Oh, Jimmy Dore. So, I put out a video last week where I basically make the case that Jimmy Dore is using sock puppet accounts on Twitter, pretending to be somebody else in order to defend himself, disseminate his content as a third party. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just use your own personal account to defend yourself and share your content, but Jimmy Dore, from what I personally was able to dug up, is using sock puppet alternative accounts pretending to be other people. And I found this out because last week, and I'll do a quick recap right here. Last week, right before I went live on this show, I received a reply from let me pull the account up on my feed here. I received a reply from this Twitter account at libtard01. And at the time, by the way, this account had just 55 followers when it tweeted at me. And the tweet it sent me was this. It was a reply to a quote tweet I did of the Serfs, of a clip of Jimmy Dore and Jackson Hinkle discussing this local news clip about Halloween being canceled by the woke left. And then another story about these right-wing parents attacking a literal high school teenager over a mural she drew because they said it was pushing an LGBTQ satanic agenda. And so their discussion on it was ridiculous. And so I quote tweeted the Serfs on it and basically called out what I interpreted the video as getting across. And this account at libtard01 tweets at me. And they're defending Jimmy Dore. And I thought it was weird because this 55 follower account was getting a lot of attention. It was getting a bunch of retweets, a bunch of likes. As you can see right now, it's got 22 retweets, 224 likes on a 55 follower account. And it was the only pro Jimmy Dore reply to this tweet. And at the time when this person tweeted it, my tweet was already something like 40 hours old. It was almost 2 days old. So it wasn't like a new tweet that showed up on a feed or was showing up at the top of like search results or something. It just was weird to me. So I clicked the retweet button to see how many, who retweeted it. And I go down and I see that the first person to retweet it is Jimmy Dore. And so that's weird, because as I continue to look into it, I found out that Jimmy Dore does not follow this account at libtard01, so it wouldn't show up in his feed. I also looked at my original tweet, and it showed that I didn't say Jimmy Dore's name or at Jimmy Dore. Looking at libtard01's tweet, they also didn't at Jimmy Dore or say Jimmy Dore's name. I mean, it would even be harder for him to find at libtard01's tweet because he doesn't even say Dore. There are way more search results for Jimmy. Like, I looked it up last week in that original investigation. New tweets saying the word Jimmy coming in multiple tweets a second. And the most damning evidence to me was that this person at libtard01 tweeted this at 7:38 p.m. on October 25th. Now, there's no way to get the time in which Jimmy Dore retweeted it because it just shows up on his account as the retweet with the date of the, when libtard01 posted it, with the time libtard01 posted it. But looking at the first person to reply to Jimmy Dore's retweet of at libtard01, and we know that because it includes at Jimmy Dore, at Jimmy_Dore, Jimmy Dore's Twitter handle, in the reply, which would only happen in Jimmy Dore's retweet, because again, his handle's not included in any of our tweets, mine or libtard01's. And that first reply came in at 7:41 p.m. So we're looking at a 4-minute time span, 3 to 4 minute time span, where Jimmy Dore found at libtard01's tweet, retweeted it, and someone replied to it. So Jimmy Dore found this tweet quick. And now a lot of people thought that this also, they agreed with my theory that this seems to be a Jimmy Dore sock puppet account. But even in my investigation, I left the idea open that there is a possibility. It would be a very coincidental series of events, but there is a possibility that this libtard01 account is not Jimmy Dore. And some people argued that case, in the YouTube comments and added me on Twitter. And some people pointed out that, maybe Jimmy Dore found the Serfs original tweet, which does say Jimmy Dore's name. It doesn't add him, but it does say Jimmy Dore's name. So maybe, he found this tweet. He name searched Jimmy Dore. He saw it. He clicked the 11 quote tweets. He scrolled to my tweet. He clicked my tweet. He scrolled down from my tweet. Just at the same time, I don't even know where that tweet is now. But at the same time, at libtard01, wherever that tweet is, it's here. Here it is. He just happened to scroll down at the same time at libtard01 tweeted this, and he retweeted it because it was the only person on here who was defending him at the time. Again, it's very coincidental series of events, very coincidental, but it is possible. I am not doubting that. So, while I felt strongly that I found Jimmy Dore's sock puppet, I kept the idea open that it wasn't a slam dunk. It's possible this is not Jimmy Dore. And then I started looking into it a bit more. And then people who saw my video started looking into it a bit more. And I found some things, some other people found some things. There's a few things. But there is, honestly, there are two pieces of evidence that seal the deal here, that are irrefutable, that will prove one of two things. Number 1, at libtard01 is Jimmy Dore. Or number 2, at libtard01 is someone who lives with Jimmy Dore, someone who travels with Jimmy Dore, someone who spends a lot of time side by side with Jimmy Dore. So, without any further ado, let's get into this evidence. And let me thank a specific user who was very essential to helping find this stuff at 2Cars on Twitter. So I'm going to go through this right now. Stay with me. Here we go. 2 big pieces of evidence here. One is multiple parts, and one is very simple, and we'll seal the deal. Here we go. Look at this tweet from Jimmy Dore. It is a 2017 tweet from Jimmy Dore that includes a screenshot of his mobile phone, his iPhone. And he did not crop this screenshot, so it shows the full screen. And in this screenshot, you can see. Here, let me zoom in a little bit here. So it's actually pretty obvious. I don't think I need to zoom in any, actually. If you look in the upper left-hand side of that screenshot, it says his phone is connected to the Verizon network. That's the mobile service provider he uses. Now, if you go over to this at libtard01 tweet, he also uses Verizon. Look in the upper left-hand corner. This is also a screenshot from at libtard01 of his entire mobile phone screen. Matt, come on. Verizon's one of the major 3-4 mobile carriers. You know, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile. The odds of it being of 2 people using Verizon, of course. Yes, I agree. Let me continue, though. Jimmy Dore, in another tweet, takes another full screenshot of his smartphone, his iPhone. And the mobile service provider he's using is VZW Wi-Fi. Now, that is, I looked it up, a Verizon wireless Wi-Fi service when you want to use your Wi-Fi to make phone calls, when you don't want to use like your minutes or whatever, and use the towers, the cell towers. You can use your wireless device to make the phone calls. I bring you to a libtard01 tweet, including a screenshot of his full phone screen, also using VZW Wi-Fi. All right, Matt, come on. Little bit closer here. Not everyone uses VZW Wi-Fi, but it's still a Verizon service. And it's one of the most popular, if not the most popular wireless carrier in the United States of America. Okay. Let's continue. Jimmy Dore went to Italy in September 2018. Here's a tweet from September 24th, 2018. He's using Vodafone IT, an Italian wireless carrier. Vodafone IT. A day later, on September 25th, 2018, at libtard01, tweets a screenshot that shows his wireless carrier is Vodafone IT. Now, there are one of 2 things happening here at this point. Either this Jimmy Dore fan is such a big Jimmy Dore fan, I mean, we already know he lives in the U.S. He uses Verizon and the Verizon wireless Wi-Fi service, just like Jimmy Dore does when he's in the U.S. This guy is either such a big Jimmy Dore fan that he quickly also went to Italy, took a trip to Italy, so he can be in the same country as Jimmy Dore. Or this is a crazy coincidence. Now, maybe someone's going to argue, all right, Matt, the Jimmy Dore tweet was on September 24th when he was using Vodafone IT, and Libtard01 was on the 25th. Where's the proof that Jimmy Dore didn't go back home to the U.S.? Where's the proof his trip to Italy didn't end on September 24th? Well, here's Jimmy Dore in video form with his wife, trying out some pizza pie in Sorrento, Italy, just a few days after @Libtard01's tweet on September 28th. Now, to further this, and this is like, okay, I don't know how to make this any, like, this is crazy to me that people would argue something more here. But just in case, maybe Libtard01 is actually an Italian who was visiting the US when he made those first tweets with the Verizon network. And he actually regularly uses Vodafone IT for his Italian wireless carrier. Well, Jimmy Dore, for some reason, I don't know why, also while he was in Italy, used TIM, another Italian wireless service provider. Maybe for different regions in Italy, you have to use Vodafone IT or TIM depending on where you are. Well, also tweeting using TIM, the wireless carrier from Italy, @Libtard01, also using this same secondary Italian wireless carrier. I mean, I don't know what else to say here. I don't know what else to say. Now, you might all now be thinking, what else can Matt have here? What? Because that's just, I said there was two parts here, right? That's just all the evidence for part one. What more can I have here? What can possibly outdo the fact that Jimmy Dore and @Libtard01 both use Verizon and Verizon Wi-Fi and Vodafone IT when they're both visiting Italy at the same time, and both using a secondary Italian carrier, TIM, when they're both in Italy at the same time? Well, I have something that'll outdo that too. Here is a tweet from Libtard01 from May 2022. And this tweet includes a screenshot. I want you to look here. This is @Libtard01's account. He's got a screenshot here. Scrolling down the screenshot. I'm going to open the screenshot. I'm going to fully open the screenshot here. Let's pull this out. Oh, wait, I need to, hold on. I can't open it up completely. Hold on. I'll zoom in then. I will zoom into the screenshot here. Zoom in a little bit too much. I want you all to pay attention. You know what? I'll screenshot it here. I want you all to pay attention to, this part right here. This little black semicircle at the bottom here. Now, when you take a screenshot on Twitter, when you use Twitter, I'll show you my account. I'm logged into my account. Here's @Libtard01's account. And when I want to reply to him, if I choose to reply to this tweet, you'll see right there is my avatar. And this is where I could reply. Look, hello, everyone. See, that's where I would reply. Right next to my avatar. Now, Libtard01 over here, he took a screenshot of himself logged into his a Twitter account, and he posted it. Look at what should be his account. Here, I'm gonna zoom in even more here. Look what should. Oh, where'd it go? What did I just do with it? Let me pull it up again. Look at what should be his account here. Really look here. You see that little black semicircle with that yellow line at the top? I want to remind you what Libtard01's profile picture is. It's this Bernie painting here. I want to quickly go to Jimmy Dore's Twitter account. Look at Jimmy Dore's Twitter profile. And now let me show you once again. That's his avatar. I'm going to once again show you the screenshot Libtard01 took that shows where he replies. What does that look like there to you? What does that look like there to you? Look at it. He was Libtard01 was logged into, or should I say, Jimmy Dore, whoever Jimmy Dore's partner is, took the Libtard01 screenshot while logged into the Jimmy Dore account. And so they caught the little bottom part of the Jimmy Dore avatar where Twitter would show where you would leave a reply. I mean, again, here's Two Coats avatar. That's definitely not. Look at that little bottom right there. You see that? That little semicircle with the yellow line. It's hard to see because it's far. And you see little white, looks like the top of white letters, right? That doesn't look like that Jimmy Dore. That doesn't look like that Libtard01 avatar. Certainly looks like. Certainly looks like the Jimmy Dore one, though. I mean, let me see if I can recreate that. Hold on. Let me see if I can recreate that. Let me try. Let me take a screenshot. All right, I took the screenshot. Let me do a little better. All right, I took the screenshot. Let me pull this screenshot up. And let me make it super small, like it is there. And that's the smallest I can make it. You guys tell me what that looks like. You guys tell me what that looks like. Oh, you know how I could do it even better? Let me take the screenshot from Jimmy Dore's profile when it minimized. That'll make it look more like it. Okay, perfect. All right. From up there, you tell me what that looks like. What if I even, because I can't make it smaller for some reason. All right, what if I do this? All right, this is, and now let me make it small. Oh yeah. Come on. Yeah. Well, that's my case. That's the case I'm making. So, to conclude, this is Jimmy Dore, or someone who lives in Jimmy Dore's house, travels to all sorts of locations such as Italy with Jimmy Dore. And I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Make the small one big. It's gonna distort. I tried that. People think I didn't think of that? Come on. I tried to make the small one big. Here, I'll do it again. That was what I first thought before you guys think I'm an idiot? After all that, you guys think I'm stupid? It's gonna be too distorted to tell. But here, I'll do it. All right. I mean, it's too distorted to tell, like I said. But come on. Come on. Look at that. Here, and I'll pull up the and I'll pull up this one. Let's make it right there. Those two look awfully like the top of the M's. The Y there. The D. The O. The R being right by the circle. It's the exact things you would see. M, Y, D, O, R. Look at that. Look at that. Lines up exactly. There you go. There's a second account. Where? Tell me. What second account? What? Where is this? What second account? I'm confused. All right. These are all from libtard01, by the way, just to be clear. Because I found these all through searching, literally scrolling through at libtard101's Twitter account. Honestly, this is I think this is amazing. Oh my god, libtard01 just tweeted at me. It's a second libtard01 account. Keep coping. This is totally different. There is a second libtard01 account, and they're using a capital. It's not real. It was just set up right now. But they just made it now, after I already did my whole thing. All right, I'm going to take calls now. At Doomed, search Doomed Live on Skype. I'll take, I don't know, maybe a handful of calls. I take them as they come in. There's no screening. I'll read some super chats while people set that up. Oh, we already got our first call coming in. All right, let's do this. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? Oh, you're on mute. It says right there you are on mute. You got to unmute yourself.
Oh.
Hey, I hear you now. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's David from Wisconsin. How you doing?
Hey, David from Wisconsin. I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Could be better. Could be better.
All right. I hope everything's okay.
It's pretty good.
We always know someone's telling the truth when all of a sudden they use the "it's pretty good" voice when their voice goes up like 10 octaves. Yeah, it's going pretty good. It's okay.
So a word to the wise there. If you ever go to a town hall meeting and you're gonna speak on an issue, you write what you're gonna say down.
What happened? What happened?
I panicked.
It's all right. It's all right. Listen, it happened. It's all right.
I had an idea of like what I was gonna say, and then I panicked and basically threatened the county's board of supervisors. Like, I don't know. Like, basically, it was like one of those things where it's just like, I want to speak about this issue because it's passionate to me. And then like my brain just like panicked because there was like 400 people in the room, and I was like, oh God. And then like basically I was like, we're the voters and you work for us and we're gonna vote you out if you don't vote for this thing. And it was just like, that could have been better. Like,
listen, it's okay. You did good, I'm sure. You should see some of the things I've seen at some of those. No way you were, horrible. Trust me.
I mean, the good thing is that there was a major, like a bunch of amendments on the budget where they were going to take a bunch of money from the sheriff's department and fund like a lot of local programs here, like a lot of county parks and a lot of like stuff that needs to get done. And so basically like the county board of supervisors, they approved all these amendments because like nobody read them except for like the two guys that wrote them. And newsflash, they're both socialists.
Right.
So they got all this stuff approved. And basically, like, we all just went out there in force and we're like, hey, we want to speak on this issue. And like, these are great programs. And, this is a way to invest in the community and stuff like that. And there was just so many people there that were like just so articulate and just smart on the issues. And, like it affected them. A lot of disabled people that were there. A lot of union guys were there. It was great. Like, it really was like, exciting. That's why it was like more embarrassing to like be like, I feel like it's like the worst speaker there. I was like, oh God, this is bad.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure you listen. No one's expecting those to be fantastic. If unless you argued the exact opposite point you were trying to make, you did a good job.
Changing the subject pretty
hard. It would be funny if you went up there and just got so nervous you started spouting right-wing talking points.
He started to be like, and then we want to go with MAGA communism and
Right. Everyone should check out the Jimmy Dore show, and don't forget to subscribe to the Dive with Jackson Hinkle.
allow because if there's this great podcast that holds the establishment accountable, and you gotta do it through Twitter, and I just panicked the whole time. that would be that's something definitely that'd be hilarious if you just panic and your brain went right wing, like just dumped everything.
Yeah,
but. So okay, so question for you, right? So this libtard 01 stuff, right? So like when it's proven that it's Jimmy Dore.
I mean,
like,
I think I just did.
Yeah, pretty sure you did. Like,
listen, if someone is to argue now, this would be the argument. I want to make it clear. This would be the argument for someone who's still claiming that's not Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore and @libtard01 are not the same person. Now I'm going to make this argument. Here we go. Jimmy Dore just happened to come across a Twitter reply to a tweet that did not add him, that did not say his full name, so they couldn't even search for it. He came across this reply from a 55-follower account, which he himself does not even follow, which he found within 3 minutes of someone replying to his retweet of it. So, again, he had to find that tweet, retweet it, and someone reply within 3 minutes of the original @libtard01 tweet being posted. On top of that, they'd have to argue that libtard01 just happens to use the same mobile service, the same wireless carrier in the US, the same 2 wireless carriers, the Verizon and the Verizon Wireless service, the Wi-Fi the call over Wi-Fi service, and libtard01 just happened to be visiting Italy the exact same time as Jimmy Dore, and just happened to be using not 1, but 2 of the same Italian wireless carriers Jimmy Dore was using, Vodafone IT and TIM. And on top of that, somehow they used Jimmy Dore's avatar when posting a screenshot from their own account showing a reply from Jimmy Dore that could only be shown when you're logged into Jimmy Dore's account. I mean, that would be quite the argument to make.
I mean, it's obviously him. Like, it's, like that's about it. That's as open and shut a case as you can get. Like, that is some investigative journalism. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was like when you first broke the story, I was like, maybe it's someone on his staff. But after laying all that out today, it's just like, yeah, it's him.
It's possibly not him, and it's his wife, who's on the show with him all the time. That's the other.
Like, the only other way is that he's it could potentially be his wife, but it's like if you could geolocate like his phone with the device that he sent it from, or the account sent it from, then probably you could prove that it's his device, like. But that's, I think you have a pretty strong like circumstantial case on like it being him, or like you said, someone in his household.
Right.
But
it's the odds that they both just visited Italy at the same time period would be amazing. It'd be amazing.
I take the over under that it's him. Like I put my money on it's Jimmy. But like, you're a smart bettor, so like maybe you bet, you get Emma on the line and like get her to what's the line on either him or Steph, I think that's his wife, whatever. It's like you guys gotta do a betting pool at the MR. Be like, is it like what's the odds? Get the odds made there. Anyways.
We'll find out, I guess. We'll find out.
Yeah. I'm taking enough I appreciate the show, and yeah, I haven't caught any more wrestling, so I have nothing. I have no wrestling
good.
news.
It's all good. It's all good. We've been doing a long show already today. Only have time for a few more calls, so it's all good. Have a great night. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Calling again soon.
All right, you too, man. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, we wait for the next. Oh, we already got another caller on the line. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's James. I'm calling from New Jersey. How's it going?
Hey, James from New Jersey. It's going good. How are you? What would you like to talk about?
I'm good. I was just wondering if you have any particular thoughts on which candidates are good to vote for in the midterm elections. If there's any candidates you like in the midterm
For where?
elections.
For Jersey?
Anywhere. Anywhere in the country.
Vote for the Democrat, no matter what. Honestly, I mean, we are at a standpoint where literally, like, Tim Ryan beating J.D. Vance would be a good thing, and I'm no Tim Ryan fan. The last thing we want is a Congress controlled by Republicans. Over in Wisconsin, they're already saying that if the in the gubernatorial race in Wisconsin, they're already saying that if the governor, the Republican gubernatorial candidate wins, he's literally out there saying if he wins, Republicans will never lose another election in that state, and that's because they will then control the entire body of Wisconsin's government. They already will not let their the Republican state house in Wisconsin will not let the Democratic governor appoint his own officials in certain positions, because they're letting the previous Republican governors appointees stay, even though the Democratic governor said he wanted them to leave. They are literally doing a coup in Wisconsin, and this will happen in the entire country if they win. We can hate on Democrats all we want. I think they are completely incompetent. I think they are many of them are very bad, but even the worst Democrat is not attempting to do a coup, which at this point is literally the bar we have to pass. Literally stop Republicans from taking over this country forever.
What about Congress or Senate elections?
Same. We don't want Republicans. So whatever the Democratic candidate is, if this was the primaries, we could get into voting for the most leftist, the most progressive. Totally down for it. Whoever the Democratic nominee is for these general election races, that's who you should vote for.
Okay. What about any independent or third-party candidates? Are there any that are good?
I'm not familiar. I do know that there's only one real independent candidate I've heard who is making a real movement, and that's in Utah. Centrist sort of neocon Evan McMullin. I don't really care for him. I think he sucks. I'm not even telling you to vote for him if you're in Utah. I'm just saying it'd be very funny. Evan McMullin.
Isn't that the CIA guy?
I think so. I don't even know. It'd just be very funny to see him beat. I think it'd be very funny to see him beat Mike Lee, but I'm not telling you to vote for him if you're in Utah. However, the shit ends up there. That's how the cards fall. But it'd be very funny to see Mike Lee lose to a rando independent candidate. That's how I'm looking at that race.
Okay.
Is there anyone you're looking at? Is there anyone that you were hoping I would mention? Is there anyone that you know of?
No, I mean, not really. I just, I'm probably not going to vote because I don't like either party.
Right.
But
I mean, you're in New Jersey, so you're pretty fine.
I don't even know who's running here.
I would say if you're, I don't know what district you're in for that, for the House races. I would honestly just look up who the Democratic candidate is, or if or if it's an incumbent. I don't know. And if it's a close race and the Democratic candidate or the incumbent isn't so bad, I would maybe go out and vote for them just to make sure maybe the Dems can hold the House.
What's the best case scenario if all the Democrats win all the elections that they're running in? What do we want to happen?
Literally, best case scenario is that if another Supreme Court justice dies, Biden gets to pick who that Supreme Court justice is, which is huge. I mean, I don't think there's any denying, no matter how far left or you are, that his pick was much better than any sort of Republican pick that Trump put in there or Bush put in there.
Is there anyone who's gonna like die soon on the court right now?
I mean, there's a number who can retire if if the Republicans win the Senate and then Trump wins in 2024, whoever their candidate is in 2024, they're definitely looking at a retirement. What's his face? Clarence Thomas. How old is he? He's 74 years old, and Alito's 72.
Couldn't they just pack the court and put more justices on there so that they could appoint whoever they want?
I mean, that's what we've argued for Democrats to do, and they don't want to do it.
Why don't they want to do that, you think?
Because they're worried about upholding the integrity of the court, as if it has any integrity. I mean, I'm not telling you that Democrats are good, as in they're going to go out and give you everything that you want as a leftist. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't believe that either. But what they will do is make sure this country doesn't go further and further towards this far right that the Republicans are bringing. I mean, listen, the bar for a good president is very low. And I can say that Joe Biden's probably the best president in my lifetime. I'm 36 years old. Joe Biden is probably the best president I've ever had in my lifetime. The bar is very low, though. If you look at who's been president in my lifetime: Reagan, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bill Clinton, Bush Jr., Barack Obama, Donald Trump. I think it's very easy to argue that Biden has done more than all of them in terms of even like giving something to the left, doing COVID relief, sending checks to people. Not as much. Again, I'm not saying he gave enough, nowhere near it, but he still gave more than others. Student loan forgiveness. That's huge for so many people. Again, not full forgiveness. That would have been fantastic. That would have been what I wanted. But 10 to 20,000, that's huge.
You would support him again in 2024 if he was the Democratic nominee?
If he is the Democratic nominee, yes. If he's being primaried, I will easily support and get out there and encourage people to vote for whoever's primarying him if they're primarying him from the left.
You wouldn't even want to see who's running third party to see if there's anyone better?
They're not going to win. They're not going to. In New York, I could throw away my vote. In New York, I could vote for a third party, and that's fine. But I wouldn't tell people.
So why don't you do that? Why don't you advocate for a third party candidate?
I voted for third parties in congressional races before, where I knew that the seat was safe for the Democratic candidate or the Democratic nominee. Or the Democratic incumbent. And I voted for third parties just for myself.
But you wouldn't use your show or any other show you're on to do that, though. Right?
If there was a chance that third party would win, yes, I would do that.
If there was a chance they would win.
Yeah, but we've not seen that. Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. We unfortunately.
One of your commenters thinks I like the forward party. No, I don't like the forward party.
No, I don't like the forward party. No. It's unfortunate because it is sort of like a chicken and egg. In order for a third party candidate to have a chance, a lot of people have to support them. In order for people to say, damn, we should vote for this person, it's not throwing away our vote, then a lot of people need this. It's hard. The system's not set up for third parties. It truly sucks.
Wow, your commenters really want you to hang up on me, but
I'm not, because
I think I represent the majority of the country. To be honest, I don't think most of the country likes Democrats or Republicans.
Right? No, I would say the majority of the country is probably non-voters, honestly, and not particularly because they're super political and are begging for a more progressive party or more right-wing party. They're just unattached, uninterested, not involved, apolitical. They're too busy with their lives because they're working people to have the time to take part in this. That's unfortunate because they should, but that's the reality. And I don't think that they're out there begging for a third party. Maybe if a third party represented them, they would, but they're just out there waiting for a candidate of any party who would represent them and give them a reason to actually care and vote. So I agree with you that
Wait, so are you like a socialist? Do you think are you a socialist? Do you call
I would
yourself a
consider
socialist?
myself to be a socialist, yes, but I also just have to deal in the reality of the situation.
Do you think that that's what socialists should be doing, is telling people to vote for Democrats?
If they want to get the closest possible policies to what they want, it certainly is better than having Republicans win.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I'm not telling you Democrats are going to give us the socialist utopia we want, but they're going to expand certain things that we do want, that we do support, that are instituted right now. Like Republicans want to privatize Social Security.
Yeah, that might be true. They might be worse, but don't you think it hurts the credibility of socialists in the eyes of the general public to always be advocating for Democrats, and it kind of ties us too closely with Democrats?
I don't think the general public looks at it like that, because I don't think they care. You think someone who is disassociated and uninvolved
Well,
with
Fox News is able to
politics?
spin it, right? They're able to
To
tell
their
people
right-
that
to their-
socialists like Democrats, right?
to their right wing audience that's not going to vote for a socialist at all anyway. You think there's a right wing audience begging for a socialist, and the only reason they're voting for a Republican is because socialists are supporting Democrats, and that if a socialist was out there supporting a literal communist or literal full-blown socialist, that they would then vote for the socialist candidate or the communist candidate? No.
Maybe a lot of them could be, yeah. A lot of them would be more receptive if we were more straightforward about.
Wait, so you realize though that the knock on Democrats is that they are commies and
Yeah, but
socialists.
that's
The bad
that's
thing.
not true though, and
It's-
we don't even like what
Right, but
Democrats are doing, right?
But do you realize?
So why would we want to associate ourselves with Democrats?
But you realize that their derogatory term is communist and socialist. Like they're
yeah,
not.
that's because they think that Democrats are more socialist, but shouldn't
Right.
we be trying to convince people that Democrats aren't socialist?
Right, but they think that's bad. Like they think Democrats
I think
are
it's bad because they think that socialism means voting for Democrats,
No.
and I mean,
No,
they think
they're-
that socialism is whatever
you-
Democrats are doing.
You have it backwards. They use the terms commie and socialist as the derogatory words about Democrats. Like if I called, I'm not going to call you this, so I'm going to use a made up name. If I called Billy Bob, who I hate, a bitch, the derogatory term is not Billy Bob, it's bitch. They call Democrats commies because the derogatory term to them is a communist or a socialist. That to them is the Antichrist. That to them is the worst possible thing.
Yeah, but don't you
They're-
think a lot of them just don't know what that means? They don't
Of
really know what it
course.
means.
Of course, a lot of them don't know what it means. Yeah. There's
So
it
shouldn't we
will
be
take
trying to tell them what it really means?
yeah, but it'll take a lot more work to convince them that communism or socialism is good than it will to convince them that voting for a Democrat is good, because again, Democrats are yeah.
It will take more work to convince them that socialism is good than to convince them voting for Democrats is good. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because they hate Democrats because they think Democrats are
Why do you think socialism is so hard to explain to people then? Like, shouldn't it be easier to
Because
convince
years-
them socialism is good if it's actually good? Like, we think it's good, don't we?
decades and decades of right-wing propaganda. Literally. I mean, Fox News has been around for decades now with an audience, the largest cable news network. You have multiple well-funded right-wing news outlets that, frankly, there's nothing on the left that compares. There's nothing that compares to Breitbart and Daily Caller and Newsmax and OAN and Daily Wire and The Blaze and the Post Millennial, and I could continue going down the line. There's nothing even close to anything like that on the left. And then you have
What about the Gravel Institute and stuff like that?
they're not well funded at all. Like that's the thing. People who have money, billionaires, tend to be right wingers. So they fund right wing projects. So they are able to convince the public. They are able to convince people who watch their content via mass advertising campaigns and well funded propaganda where they could create this content They're able to convince the public exactly their talking points. That's literally why it's so hard to convince people, because of years and years and
But they
years
use
of
real
brainwashing.
examples from like real Democrat-controlled areas and like cities. They try to paint that as what socialism is, and we don't want like the policies Democrats are pushing. We want actual socialism. So
Like what? Give me an example of what you're talking about. Like what are they? Give me an example.
they use like high crime, high inflation.
You know the highest crime areas are in red states.
Okay, yeah, I do know that. So
Right.
what?
Well, I just explained to you. Right-wing propaganda has convinced those people that the right-wing talking points that the blue states are the high crime areas is not true. And in actuality, the Democratic-controlled areas are, like New York City, for example, is one of the safest big cities in the entire United States of America. I mean,
Yeah, but New York isn't socialist.
right. There is no there's no place that's socialist in the United States of America. There's no example to give them.
So we should use like international examples, shouldn't we?
I mean, even international examples aren't full-blown socialist or communist. I mean, for example, the Nordic region has a lot of very socialist policies, but, they're still capitalist countries.
Like, what about like China?
I would not consider, they have communist policies in terms of how they provide for their people. Like the pandemic was a great example of how they made everyone stay locked down, and they made sure they used their military and their governmental bodies to provide everyone with food and everything. I thought that was a good thing. Not letting people, fend for themselves and figure out how they want to get out there and buy food when they weren't working. But also there's very many authoritarian things about them. And also companies exist in China. Big businesses exist in China. Very
Yeah,
wealthy
it's not all
people.
going to go away overnight, right?
Yeah, well, it's not gonna. It's not gone away for many, 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 many years. I don't think it's heading that direction either. I think they're not like going in a direction that's going to dissolve the companies. That's just how it is. That's just the facts.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call, and
Oh, no problem. I enjoyed the call. I
hopefully-
thought, I didn't.
well,
hang
your
up on these.
commenters freaking hate me, dude.
Well,
should
you
see what they say.
can't judge the what I'm doing right here where we're talking with the commentators.
I know, but it just seems like they're very much opposed to this line of thinking. I'm not sure why. Like,
Well, no, I would say probably maybe they thought you were trolling, which happens every now and then. But I think you were judging by how I kept you. Well, I would have kept the troll on too because I would have fun with it. But from my conversation with you, I don't think that's the case at all. And I will go to bat to say you were legit, inquiring and debating with me a bit. And I thought it was great. Thanks for the call. Feel free to call in anytime. I'll take your call and we could talk about anything else or this again.
cool. Thanks, bro.
Have a great night.
You too.
No, I truly think that caller was legit, folks. That's what I want. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey Matt, it's Josh from California. How you doing?
Hey, Josh from Cali. Well, I'm doing good. What was there to talk about?
Yeah, so I just want to respond to your last caller a little bit. If you care so much about third-party voting and all of that kind of stuff, do something locally first. You don't fucking start with a presidential election or a senatorial election or even a congressional election. No one is if you don't have name recognition, people aren't going to vote for you. So, organize at the local level, actually win a city council seat. That's what their socialists are doing in Los Angeles, and they did in Buffalo. And the Democratic Party absolutely, India Walton, I think was her name. They totally sabotaged her. But also the voters, the general election voters didn't necessarily want her. But that's...
I want to actually double down on what you just said there because I think it's really important. I wish I made that point to the caller, and I hope he's still listening. I will 100% support a local candidate in a local, like, citywide or school board or, comptroller city, whatever, really localized races. Because guess what? That's where you're going to win. And that's when you can start building a party.
Yeah.
And that's where you can then float candidates for higher positions down the road. Local school board races, things like that. We're talking, elections that are determined by literally 100 or, a couple hundred total votes. You can convince people to vote for you based on just who you are, because guess what? You can talk to every single voter. like that's the thing people don't realize. Like, candidates don't get to talk to every voter. And so if you're a third party and you're running and you got to convince hundreds of thousands of people to vote for you and they got no fucking clue who you are, they're going to vote for the candidate that they can most relate to, and that's going to be the candidate represented by the party they most trust.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and that's one of the parts where, the Green Party continually shoots themselves in the foot, is they just, no one takes them seriously because they've been a joke party for 30 years because they have no organization, and they kind of, it's vote for us, we like weed, and like that's the entirety of, their platform in a lot of cases. Or, so it's, and there's no supporting party apparatus across the state. And frankly, that's one of the problems with the Democratic Party too, is like someone that Sam's interviewed, I can't remember, he's like the head of the state party in Wisconsin. When he inherited the party, they didn't have precinct captains in like half of the precincts in the state. And Florida's the same way, where Debbie Wasserman Schultz has run that state party into the fucking ground, where they, people do buy into the propaganda and the villages suck and everything else. But also, if you're not keeping in contact with people as a organized party, they lose interest in you and they do disengage. And it's gonna be it's a problem. But you have to start from the ground up, especially since we don't have all the money. Like you said, right-wing billionaires fund right-wing projects. The closest thing you have to a left-wing billionaire is George Soros, and he's far from fucking left-wing.
Right. Right.
Which is,
absolutely.
And I'm not.
We need to get what's her face. We need to get Jeff Bezos's ex-wife.
Oh, Mackenzie Bezos or whatever.
Yeah, we need to get Mackenzie Bezos to start throwing down money, because she's throwing it. Or she doesn't want to get. It seems like she doesn't want to. She's clearly a Democrat, and she clearly has a shit ton of money, and she very obviously is donating a ton of money to very good organizations, who sort of don't get involved in like electoral politics.
Mm-hmm. Well,
she needs to get involved. She needs to get involved. Of course,
someone needs to go to her and say, "Look, I'm going to run a bunch of candidates, and we're going to try and totally fuck your ex-husband over," and that's that.
I don't know if she hates him like that, but listen, she should. And then once we're in charge, we can figure out what to do with her money. But while things are how they are, we need to get her to start throwing down.
Yeah, her and Oprah.
I mean, Oprah should be out there fucking taking responsibility for Dr. Oz at the very least.
You'd think, yeah. I mean, I think she and Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil should all be in jail, but that's a whole other thing.
I mean, Oprah needs to be going out there. I don't know if she's endorsed Fetterman, but she should be spending money on Fetterman.
Oh yeah. She
should be, because she created the monster.
If
she's Frankenstein.
But if she believes in all of this positivity and stuff, and the power of like caring for everybody or whatever her movement was for a while, she should be out there trying to influence wine moms to, actually vote and vote in a way that isn't gonna, take away rights from black people, because Loving v. Virginia's not far off. Like, that's, there's it's but anyways, yeah, I mean, the only way you establish power is just you have to do it locally. The social and the Socialists and the Progressive Party and the Populist Party in the early 1900s knew that. Like, they won seats in Kansas or whatever, and that's how they got started. And they ran Debs as a presidential candidate, and of course he never won anything, but like that was the closest we ever got to having a socialist president. Was they won some seats locally first, and that's how they built up a power base, and that's how you establish yourself. And one of the things, so my parents, and although I think my dad is probably a secret socialist, but he's not allowed to say it in that generation, because he was one of those Democrats that was like at the riots in '68, and I'm pretty sure he was involved in throwing bricks at cops. But and then
hell yeah! If your dad's listening to this, you should be tell him he should be proud of that.
Oh, he is. He would be. But yeah. So, but more on my mom's side is all the. Oh well, I believe in police reform, but I don't like to defund the police. And you have to sit there and explain it all to them and whatever. And it's just like that. Even they're coming around. Even that side of like the sort of very liberal are coming around to like, yeah, no, we got really complacent in not realizing that we had to participate in this to like maintain a democracy and show up and all of that kind of stuff. And so like it's like the easiest thing to do is just show up. Like it's a pain in the ass, but it's once every 2 years or whatever. It's not. And so I don't know. I don't understand like, oh well, they don't represent me. Of course they don't. Like you have to. That's because people don't our age and younger don't show up. Like when are they? Why would they listen if everyone over 65 are the people who vote? Like that's who I would go after. So it's just that's why you should participate, because I work as a data analyst and and a business intelligence developer. I can tell you, I sit in rooms with people who make executive decisions about this kind of crap, and I can tell you that what they're going to look at for the next primaries and who they're going to throw their money behind and all that kind of stuff, and what they run on, and their public messaging is going to be, okay, X number of voters in this area, in this demographic showed up, so we think that's where we can get the highest turnout. That's what we're going to target our messaging to, and that's the kind of candidate we're going to back, and everything else. That's how consultants work. That's true across all organizations. And so because data is data. Right now I work with a hardware company, but done security, I've done real estate. It's all, it takes a couple of days to familiarize yourself with the data set, but it's the same people across all of this stuff.
Right. No.
So,
no. Great point. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a good week.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
I also, sorry, real quick.
Sure.
Love your detective work on, call it. It's so screenshots are hilarious, and how people don't know how they work.
I mean, I can't get over how easy, not easy, but how in your face some of this stuff was.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye. All right, I'll take. All right, let's do this. I want to take as many people as possible. Really quick calls, though. How about that, okay? Really quick calls. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Matt. It's Rem from Baltimore.
Hey, Rem. Want me to pull you up on the feed?
Sure. That's fine.
Cool. So I don't know if you heard me when I said that. When I said what I said earlier. Oh, wait, what? There we go. But I'm going to try to just take as many people as possible. There's a bunch of phone calls, so I'm going to try to do really quick calls. Then, of course, anyone who wants more to say will be call in next time on the stream, and I'll give you more time. So, Rem, what was it to talk about today?
I will be quick. Don't worry. I wanted to give you an update on Jessie Gender's video that she uploaded.
Sure. Okay.
About Matt Walsh. Well, it's been up for a while, so clearly she found out a way to bypass the problem, and I think she found it. and it was a small moment in the documentary, Walsh's documentary, What is a Woman, where this lady handed Walsh a book, and he opens it, and it's like a sex ed book, and it shows like sexual positions. And so I don't think in the documentary it was blurred, but
Right.
Jesse blurred it. So I think that might have been it, and then it might have been another one. I'm not really sure. So
Okay, so hopefully it seems like it was a legit reason and not something that shows there is still problems on YouTube with
well,
LGBTQ content. Or no, go ahead. What?
she got a response finally from YouTube, and I'll read it from her community post. So Jesse says, so I finally heard back about my appeal, unsurprisingly, but angrily. Not only was it rejected, I have zero reasons given as the specifics
Right.
removed in the first place. I find this response deeply disappointing,
They don't ever give.
angry.
Unfortunately,
What was that?
YouTube does not ever give the reason. That's definitely 100% a problem in general on a broader scale. They need to let people know why these videos were, striked or taken down. But that's something that's been a long, yeah, that's definitely something that's not targeting any sort of specific content creator.
So yeah, she's just been accused of not keeping YouTube a safe place, and she's furious because that's exactly what she is trying to do with her videos. They're very educational.
Yeah, that's just a carbon copy thing that's sent to everyone who gets the stuff taken down.
Right.
Like, listen, I'm not saying it was right for them to do. I'm looking at, because she's a prominent trans creator. I'm looking to see because YouTube has long had a problem, with down reaching LGBTQ content and being considering like just LGBTQ content to be sexual because it's LGBTQ content, which is bullshit. And if that's still a problem there, she needs to continue working on to fix it. But from what it sounds like, it doesn't sound like she was targeted by, I'm not saying YouTube is looking out for her. I'm saying like, any algorithm that has some sort of bias. It's a general YouTube problem where they're taking shit down and not telling creators why, which they need to tell them. And then B, I think, telling a creator that you took...
Yeah, you know why they're doing that, because that means they're going to have to take a side, just like what Democrats do. They're terrified of saying certain words or taking an actual stance on anything.
Well, I see why they wouldn't want to show, nude content on YouTube. That makes... Again, if I was running YouTube, I wouldn't care.
They should just tell her. They should have just like screened.
They should tell her that. That would actually be the most sensible thing from even their standpoint, so they could avoid any sort of discussion around it being something else.
Right. So now I think she has a strike. I think it got removed. I'm not sure because there's still more there, but it's okay. I don't need to read all that. But yes, watch that video if anyone hasn't seen it. It's a two-parter because the first part's like I think 2 hours, and then the second part's like 4 hours. It's really, really good. I enjoyed that. And then she had a follow-up video to talk more about the censorship, and that's also pretty informative. It's a little shorter. But yeah, I was wanting you to have her on as soon as you can, but I know there's a lot going on in the world. Lula won, and I was hoping you'd have
haven't even done an episode on that, but yeah.
I'm waiting. Renee might be trying to find you someone, if you're patient enough. And what was it? Yeah, that the third party caller, ridiculous. Sorry, just very dishonest in my opinion. I just didn't really like their tone on it. It was weird.
I do want to say listen, I didn't agree with him. I'm glad he called. I do want people like him and with all sorts of different ideas that I'm not going to agree with to call in. I don't want my chat has the mind of their own. I don't control them. As long as they're not being racist, sexist, or saying something horrible about the caller, they could rag on the callers. What the caller's saying. I'm not gonna be, but if there's a problem with them saying shit that goes beyond that, then obviously I'll tell my mods to do something about it. But
Right. You can rag on me. I don't care. I'm
yeah.
not paying attention to the chat. I mean,
Yeah.
he seems pretty
So
insecure.
I want people to come here and know they can call in and talk with me. I want my chat to know that they can say what they'd like about that conversation, and both parties need to understand that. I think for the most part both parties do. I think that caller understood that too. I think he was bothered by it. He was caught off guard by it, but he stayed on the call. So I mean, he clearly was okay with it enough to continue the conversation. So I appreciate everyone involved.
Right. Well, I get frustrated with the purity politics, and you can't be this because you do this, or you don't do this. You can't be this label because I do more, and I just don't care about all that stuff. I'm not trying to be a saint or anything. I just feel like we should just push back against Republicans because they're trying to make voting illegal and being trans illegal, and they're going all out. And I know they do this every year. They do this every 4 years. They do this all the time. They get worse and worse. But I'm just tired of people saying, "Oh, both sides the same." Kinda, not really though. If you really pay attention, if you pay more attention to the Republicans instead of what Dore does, is he only cares more about attacking the left or the Democrats and liberals, which is fine, I guess. It's just clearly Dore is very insecure and he has to spy on people from other accounts. So great job, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure, Rem. Talk again soon. I will have that YouTuber on the show. After the midterms, things will probably, probably the first week or two after will probably be crazy, and then it'll get slower as we reach the holidays. And now it's a good time to have on people for things that aren't like part of the news cycle.
Yeah. And then the Lauren Southern and Lauren Chen.
I guess I do have to do it, right? I think people are looking forward to it now that I mentioned it.
They're very sneaky though. You gotta be careful. I know you'll be fine, but and you might catch them off guard maybe, but they're, especially Lauren Southern. She's really sneaky. She's very self-aware, like Candace Owens is, but she tries to be all like your friend, and no, she's just trying to push her white supremacist views.
See, the funny thing is, what will throw me off is that it's a midterm stream. So what do they want to talk about? I know they're not going to want to talk about the midterm races. Like, maybe they will. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yep. We'll see. I guess I got to do it, right?
Yeah, why not?
Have a great night, Rem. Always a pleasure.
You too. Thanks, Matt. Take it easy.
Bye. All right, let me do really quick. I'm gonna take a call. No more than 2 minutes. Here we go. No more than 2 minutes, caller. Here we go. Oh, you're on mute. Your mic's not working. Let me hang up on you. I'll take your call next time. Still not working. I'll take your call. Cameron, I will take your call when you call back in. Try to get it working before I end the stream. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, you're really behind on the stream. You're on, Tony.
Am I? Okay. Okay. I guess I'm really behind. Hi.
How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing all right. So I'll make it quick. First, you need to make me a mod in the Discord for Patreon.
Oh, yes. I need to actually go in there. I forgot. It's been a little bit. What I'm going to have to do is over the holidays when things are a bit slower, I'm probably going to sit down, get everything in order, probably going to launch a few more tiers of the Patreon, actually give subscribers something, unique in terms of content. Maybe we'll do a member show every, just for members, because everyone knows I have a hard time not giving away stuff for free because I feel bad. I feel guilty. I'm a sucker. But I think I'm being told by literally everybody who does this, the reason I don't have more patrons is because I have an aversion to doing exclusive content. I got to do it, unfortunately, it seems. So I'll get all these things in order. I'll make the Discord community actually a place people want to go to because I will be in there more and interacting. I'll sort it all out. We'll get it all together. What I really want to do is I really want to launch the newsletter again. And actually, I think that the easiest way to bring people on board to help would actually be get freelance reporters and pay them, obviously, to do pitch me. And if I like something, I pay them to write it up and put it in the piece and put it in the newsletter. And then that way new people will find the show and then maybe they'll come watch the stream. Maybe they'll just pay for the newsletter. I don't know. So I got all these ideas. Just got to find the time. That's always the thing.
And the tricky bit. Speaking of, there's not much left on this call. So
I just spoke the whole time. So if you want to say something else, go ahead.
The couple callers ago that was asking about your election, candidate recommendations and that sort of thing. It's not about like socialists need to support Democrats. It's that socialists that are about their shit and about the praxis need to do whatever we can to legitimately keep as much power away from Republicans as possible, because I'm getting shit like this in my mailbox.
Well, I'm gonna make you stay right there. I'm gonna do full screen so people could see. Oh wait, it's too because you're doing the vertical.
Oh,
hold on.
So yeah,
move back a little bit so people could see it, and then go to your right there.
Yeah,
Don't move.
There. So
Joe Biden, progressive politicians, and their left-wing allies in government are pushing radical and irreversible gender experiments on children. I mean, yeah, indoctrinating your children. Joe Biden and his left-wing allies are indoctrinating your children into believing biological sex is not real, says this. It's obviously an anti-trans mailer.
It's all it is. It's just anti-trans misinformation bullshit.
For leftists out there who don't want to vote Democrats, look at that. I want people to understand, like, they're calling out Joe Biden and the Democrats for simply validating that trans people exist. If that's literally what the Democrats are doing, which, for the most part, I would say Joe Biden especially has been pretty damn good. He's out there speaking out against these attacks, and this is insane hearing from a president say this, How do you not, you don't got to like the guy. You don't got to like everything about him. How do you not vote for him over whatever the Republicans are going to put forward if Joe Biden's the general election candidate? Same with any other insert name here, Democrat and down ballot races. If their one thing is protecting your allies, then you vote for those people. You vote for those people. I mean, it seems very simple to me.
Yeah, but I feel like that caller was calling in good faith. Everybody's
I do think
someplace on their
absolutely.
journey, and I get like chat like Joe. I'm just asking for just a skosh more like patience and understanding, and like just holding space for people to come and get informed, because not everybody is showing up at the same place that you are. We're all trying to get there. We've all been at some level of ignorant and are at some level of ignorant presently. And when new information is coming to us, we receive it better when people present it with some compassion and understanding 99% of the time. That's all I'm saying. So I really appreciate your show and all your sleuthing. It's been a very entertaining episode of Doomed. And I thank you so much, Matt. I'm gonna go pass out.
Thank you,
Y'all have a
Tony.
great night.
I just want to say we've had tons of people on the watching the stream on both on both Twitch and YouTube tonight. I hope if you're a new watcher on either channel, I hope you subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. I do this multiple times a week, regularly, weekly, and every episode's a lot of fun. Not all are Jimmy Dore sleuthing, but a lot of stuff. A lot of times I'm finding out some pretty fun, interesting stuff. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? It's not working. I'm so sorry, Cameron. I see you dressed to the nines over here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. Your mic's not working at all. It's got to be on your end, too. Let me hang up on you, okay? And then you call back. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi. My name is Leah. I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Hey, Leah from Rhode Island. What would you like to talk about?
I just wanted to mention that in my state, which is always Democrat, we have a Senate race this time, and the Republican candidate is actually leading so far from what the polls say.
Right.
And I'm like really distraught. I don't.
Who's the candidate? Who's the candidate? Let me look at these polls.
Oh, his name is, oh God, my mind is blank now.
Who's the incumbent then? Who's the incumbent?
The incumbent is oh my God, my mind is blank.
That's right. Let me look up who your senators are. Hold on.
Oh.
Is the incumbent Jack Reed or Sheldon Whitehouse?
No, Sheldon Whitehouse retired.
Did he?
Not Sheldon Whitehouse. I'm sorry. I sound like a real idiot.
No. Don't worry about it. Who's the? Let me look up. Hold on, I'll look up. Hold on. Let's see if Jack Reed is. Both of them are.
Jack Reed is.
Both of
those are. Yeah.
Both of them are your. Are you thinking of the House races, or are you sure Senate?
I think it was Senate. Maybe it's. I don't even know. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I pay attention to politics every single day, and I don't even know which race it is.
It is Rhode Island, so yeah.
Thanks.
I don't think there's. I don't know if there's any Senate races.
I don't about which race it is, but you know what I mean.
Maybe it's state house. Maybe it's not U.S. Congress.
No, it's either Congress or Senate. It's one or the other. I thought it was Senate.
All right, let me look. Rhode Island midterms. We got. I see gubernatorial races. I don't know. I'm looking it up. Anyone in the chat?
And also the gubernatorial race is also the Republican is said to be in the lead, which is also very.
Let me see. I think I could see the general election ballot in Rhode Island. All right, here we go. I see governor. I don't see any Senate races. I don't think there's a Senate race.
I guess.
Are you talking? Let me name some people here and see if these ring a bell. David Cicilline?
No, he's already elected.
Right, but I'm talking about the race you're talking about. He's not in that race that you're talking about.
No.
What about Pamela Lauria?
No.
What about Jennifer Smith Boylan?
No.
Wait,
let me. I can't believe this. This is like so sad.
I'm actually very interested in finding out this now.
So embarrassing. Oh my God.
It's funny because the people I named, you knew exactly who they were.
Yeah. I know a lot. I mean, I literally pay attention to politics all day.
I think you're talking about the state house because there's no Senate races.
Senate, yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on one second.
Are you talking about the town clerk race? And
No.
what about the nonpartisan regional school committee race? These are real. By the way, these are real things I'm reading. I'm literally reading right off the ballots. General Treasurer, Attorney General, Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor, Governor. I mean, it's Rhode Island. It's small, so it can't be too much.
I know.
It's definitely State House, though. I think we could. I think we've.
No, it's not. It was. Never mind.
It's okay. It's okay.
I can't find it here. I just looked at the ballot the other day.
It's all right.
Because I haven't voted yet. I was going to vote early.
It's all right. Don't worry. I'm very interested in finding out who you could possibly be talking about.
I don't believe this.
New poll shows Republican leading in Rhode Island House race. Hold on. Are you talking about Republican candidate Alan Fung?
Yes.
And the Democratic candidate Seth McGeisner?
Yes, that's
all right, that's in the 2nd Congressional District. Hold on. Let's Rhode Island 2nd District polls.
Because one of our people retired, so that's why they're.
All right. It does say it's a toss-up.
It says that now.
Over on Politico, but is there a I'm looking for let's say the 538 forecast here. According to their model, 538's model, Seth McGeisner, the Democratic candidate, wins in 56 out of 100 models.
Oh.
So it's possible. I mean, it's been
better than when I looked. I think I looked like at the end of last week.
It's been tightening. It was a double-digit race, literally just early last month. Let me see these polls here. It's weird because all the polling that has been done puts the Republican candidate up top, which means that maybe these polls are, Republican polls in terms of, because they go to certain polling firms to conduct their polling to weigh it closer to how they want it to be in order to control the narrative in the media. And Democrats do this too, obviously, with their own Democratic firms. But yeah. Thanks for the call, though, Leah.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry that I was so.
No, that was fun. That was fun trying to figure it out. It was like we played a game show. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right, I'm trying one more time, Cameron. Just one more time. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Now.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, you can.
I can.
On everything is running on go. The engines are hot on my end. Skype is telling me that it's taking my microphone. So can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound great.
That's awesome. I'm going to be quick, just as you ordered. Whoa, that's weird. For some reason, I'm seeing you got the double screen on.
Oh, because you're okay.
Because I'm seeing myself and myself
because when I was talking to the Serfs, I needed to change that. Hold on, I'll give you the old.
No, you shouldn't talk to the Serfs, filthy peasants.
Right. All right, go ahead. What would you like to talk about, Cameron?
Well, I wanted to say that you we're talking so much about that Twitch. Jesus, I haven't even lit my famous cigarette. My famous cigarette that I always smoke when I come on your show.
Cameron, I just gotta say, I appreciate.
I'm addicted to cigarettes for you.
I appreciate you being quick.
No, I'll be quick. You got me on. I figured out how to use the Twitch thing.
Oh, cool.
In order to send the money. Yeah. So I know you've been talking about that and trying to get more people to use that. So I did sign up. I got my mother's Prime account, and I did send the Twitch subscription to Left Reckoning. So I wanted to. I've got this great book. See this?
Limericks.
Yeah, I thought I'd just give an old ditty for those in the crowd. One sec, I'll switch to my reading glasses. Okay, this one, how does it go? So this wench is a capitalist. She's our villain and not to be hissed. But she's lush and she's plump. And a glimpse of her rump would teach Marx that there's something he's missed.
Thank you, Cameron.
Did that not work? Do you want me to call in again?
Have a great night, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Right.
All right, folks. I think maybe one more call. Let's see. I don't know. It's getting late. I got to edit that Jimmy Dore video so I could put it up as a standalone. So I think I'm gonna call it a night. So many people are trying to call in right now. I gotta call it a night. All right. Absolute last call. Really quick. Last call.
All right, Matt.
Hey, Dave from Jamaica.
Here's the quickest call you'll ever get.
You got 1 minute. Go ahead.
Twitter dead in a year.
There we go. Twitter dead in a year. That's Dave from Jamaica's.
And subscribe to Matt Binder. Best show.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Have a great night. All right, I'm closing up Skype. I'm sorry, everyone. I know so many of you want to call in. I got to close it up because I got one more thing for you all. But first, let me read the, let me thank the people who just became patrons. Joining the Legion of Patrons, we got, let me see, when was the last episode of this show? Okay, I want to go back to that date. Here we go. Brynhild, Asher P, Brian B, Chai T-Rex, the Emo Dragon, and that's everybody. Thank you all so much. Once again, patreon.com/MattBinder. If you can afford to do so, becoming a patron is the best way you can support this show. Also, let me read the super chats over on YouTube. If you want to give a one-off, I'll read your super chat as it comes in really quick. We got Dietrich with the super chat. This is super epic. Libs owned. Themic with a $10 super chat. Directions failed. Now facing 10 to 20. Rest in peace. That's when I was talking about how if people record their, when they hire a prostitute, they could get away with with calling it porn and they wouldn't get, and that's legal. McKibbin's IPTV with just a super chat to give me a super chat. Sherman Brown with a $20 super chat. You are the GOAT for that. That was during the Jimmy Dore thing. Thank you so much, all my super chatters. Really appreciate it. And now let me go over to Twitch. So by the way, youtube.com/MattBinder. Subscribe there. Now let me go over to Twitch. Twitch.tv/MattBinder. And thank the people who subscribe there. We had a hype train. I didn't even realize. 13 sub gifts. Whoa, and 1,401 total bits. Well, let me thank those people. Tokyo Hans cheered 200 bits, and then he cheered 100 bits separately. Tokyo Hans also gave out 2 community gift subs, and he cheered 101 bits again. Zen Cyclist with 1,000 bits. Thank you so much. Anastasia Beaverhouse resubscribed at 1 month with tier 1 subscriber for 3 months. Love you lots, Matt. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Anastasia. And Anastasia gave out 5 community gift subs. Thank you so much. And Tokyo Hans gave out an extra 2 community gift subs. Jeez. Lil Miss Martian resubscribed at Prime, 3-month-long subscriber. Tech Tink just subscribed at Prime for the first time. Welcome aboard, Tech Tink. Once again, thank you to Serfs and to Prime K's for the raid. Goat Trek subscribed with Prime, first time subscriber. Thank you so much. A Socialist resubscribed for 1 month at tier 1. 8-month-long subscriber. Micro Sleepery subscribed at Prime, first time subscriber. Welcome aboard. Don James 1676 cheered 31 bits. And I think I'm going back to the last stream now. Yep, that's everybody. Thank you all so much for the support. And any ASCII just cheered 100 bits. Thank you so much getting in there. Really appreciate all the support. And before we go, that user on Twitter, at 2cars, just sent me a Photoshop of those 2 Jimmy Dore graphics in like a photo editing program. So let me pull this up. I gotta do this. I absolutely gotta do this. Where is it? What did I do with the video? Oh, right. I downloaded it. I forgot. Hold on. So let me. All right. This is really good. So, you know what? It's not as good like that. Let me pull it up in the... That way I could zoom in. Okay. What? Where is the one I want to... Giving you a taste of my DMs there. There's nothing there. Ugh, I just X'd it out. All right, here it is. Let me zoom in now. All right. All right, so in case you weren't sure, a listener just sent me this. Brought both pieces into... in case you weren't sure, a listener just sent me this. They brought both the little semicircle in that @libtard01 screenshot and Jimmy Dore's Twitter avatar together to prove that @libtard01 was logged into Jimmy Dore's Twitter account when he shared that screenshot. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Look at that. Come on. Oh my God. All right, everyone. Hope you had... Oh, got one more super chat here. Sir Psycho Sidekick, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, everyone, that is the show. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget, patreon.com/MattBinder, youtube.com/MattBinder, twitch.tv/MattBinder, and give me your email address. Go to my Twitter profile page. It's a one-click subscription. Twitter.com/MattBinder, You click that button right there. There's a widget right on my profile. You just click that button and you give me your email. It's super important to do that. We don't know what's going on with Twitter. We don't know what other platforms are going to screw it all up. If I have your email, I will never lose you. All right, everyone. See you all next time on Doomed. Oh, wait. I can't believe. Who should I raid? Who should I raid? I got so many people to raid. Who should I raid? I almost forgot. Who do I raid? Who should I raid? Who am I raiding? Who do I raid? Give me a people. Who do I raid? Oh, B Buccaneer, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Let's see who's on. Who do I raid? Oh, let's do Riverboat Jack. Commented earlier about looking forward to the Serfs stream. So I'm going to do Riverboat Jack. I'm going to raid Riverboat Jack. All right, everyone. Now I will see you all next time on Doomed.